predominantly backups. What will the defense look like? Will that be predominantly backups? How badly or what is Spags wanting to see, or how important, I should say, is it for Spags to see his starters out there, or is it more important for him to see some of the depth pieces, some of those younger guys? You need the real live game action to really know the difference between what goes on in training camp and what is a closer version of what will go on in the regular season. They always talk about the 3 different seasons and speed. There's preseason game speed, regular season game speed, and playoff game speed, and maybe even Super Bowl game speed. And so these, and this is, you could say even training camp speed, live practices. Preseason game speed is another notch up, and as you ramp up to game number 1 against the Denver Broncos, you've got to be ready for that. So we'll talk about the things that we'll be looking for tomorrow, whether that be players or positional groups, things we're wanting to see and watching for, and maybe hoping to see or at least learn something from some of these players coming up tomorrow. We'll talk with Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike podcast. Get his thoughts on what he has seen through these 2 weeks of training camp. There are 3 practices left at St. Joe before they break camp. So we wait and wait and wait for training camp to get here. It arrives, and then it goes by so fast, and now we're talking about preseason games. But we'll see what Matt Derrick has learned over the last couple of weeks from training camp, some things he was looking for entering training camp. I know we talked last week because a couple of weeks ago, the number one thing he was wanting to watch for after Patrick Mahomes' health was Rashee Rice. He has gotten better. He's improved in terms of what it looks like his fluidity, if you want to call it that, he looked pretty, stiff and rigid. It looked like he was sort of dragging his knee a little bit when they were running like 7-on-7 against air. And I was like, oh, that looked, that did not look smooth at all. But he's looking smoother since he's been out there practicing more and more. So that's certainly one thing we can talk about, what Matt Derrick heard from Rashee Rice. As we said, it was the 3rd album that he's released, and it was just the greatest hits. It was just remixes. It was just DJ Khaled, 3 years in a row.
Another one.
Here's another one. Yes.
We the best.
That's right.
I don't know what else he says.
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
I feel like he says, you loyal.
DJ Khaled. Yeah, that's what he says.
What a good game.
We'll see what Matt Derrick says coming up at 11 o'clock, and get his thoughts on a number of things Chiefs related. Mick Schaefer will join us, KSHB 41 sports director, coming up in the noon hour. They have their full broadcast coming up tomorrow on KSHB with preseason game number 1. We've got our pre-post coming up right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB that you can listen into and get the first reaction and weigh in and call in with what you saw. If you were out there at the game and leaving, if you are hydrated enough, hopefully, if you're out there at the game tomorrow, or you're just watching on TV, you can call in as soon as the game is over and weigh in on the things that you saw. Cuts before the show is over as well. 913-912-4810 is the text line.
I doubt I made any cuts.
Okay.
I doubt I made any.
Well, I guess it would depend if Michael put anything in there before he took the day off.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if there are any cuts for you this week.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. He's off today, but we'll see if there's anything in. I know there's a lot of cuts in there that I put in there, but we'll see. 913-912-4810 is the text line. All right, let's get into the show. Let's just start with what we're looking for tomorrow. We can go through our top 5. I've sort of broken it up to where I've got individual players, but then I've got like overall sort of things that I want to see from the team. And Sterling, I know you like to start with number 1 and work backwards to number 5. You're a big fan of that. It's just right out of the gates saying the thing you're most excited about or looking forward to. But I think I want to switch it up this week.
Okay.
Than what you typically like.
Sure.
So I say we start with number 5, if that's okay with you.
Shockingly, I know. That's
Is that okay with
not
you?
Not like me, I know.
If that's okay with you, we'll work from 5 to 1.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. I know this is not something you're used to, so just flip your ranking, if you will.
Electric.
Of what you were ready to do, what you were ready to go with. You want to start with number 5 since it's not something you're typically used to?
Yeah, let's do it.
I can start with I go number 5.
I'll go number 5. I guess number 5. I'll say because it's the we're going down.
Yeah.
And then we're going up to more important. I'll say Garrett Nussmeier or even Justin Fields. I'll just say backup quarterback situation in general.
The Nuss bus, the Fields train.
I think it's kind of a combination to me of can Fields look good enough to where you're comfortable if I'm trying to even think of certain situations. I don't think, especially now, they're not going to use Patrick on QB sneaks. What a time to do it. No defense would be planning on this. If you're ever going to QB sneak, now might be the time. There might be a 9-yard window.
It would be hilarious if, like, in preseason game, no, I mean, it wouldn't
I meant the regular season in general, but
I know.
Imagine if Patrick ever tried to do a QB sneak.
Here's the
There'd
thing.
be a massive gulf.
If they were ever going to do a QB sneak, it would have been the 49ers overtime on 4th and 1 when there was nobody over the center.
Yes, correct.
Nobody. It was 4th and 1, Super Bowl on the line. If you don't pick it up, the game is over. And they still ended up running Patrick Mahomes. It was just a RPO fake and then a run to the right where he could pass it or keep it. He ends up running anyway for like, a 10 or 11-yard gain. But it would have been like a 4 or 5 yard. There was nobody lined up over Creed. And if they didn't do it then, Sterling, at that point, I'm like, they are never, ever going to run a quarterback sneak ever again.
So for me, it's
Mahomes.
Justin Fields. Will they have packages for him in season? I don't ever want to take Patrick off the field. I think it's silly, but still, I want to see what Fields looks like as a backup. And then is Garrett Nussmeier good enough to keep? Because the thought is he going to be on the 53-man roster? It doesn't count towards the active game day roster. Remember the whole situation with the third quarterback, but you still have to keep him on the 53. Obviously, he was a flyer in the 7th round. He was a lot of potential the year prior, then fell down the draft boards. I would like to see, is he a guy the Chiefs want to keep, or do they think they can get him on the practice squad?
Yeah, I like that one. The backup quarterbacks, the quarterback, because look, if Mahomes can't play or misses a game, there's a lot of talk about what Nussmeier has looked like in training camp. I cut up a number of clips from Tyrann Mathieu in his podcast because he was up at training camp, and there are, I think, 5 different clips of him talking about different guys. I didn't cut up the Garrett Nussmeier soundbite.
Sure.
It was a lot about, hey, that's our LSU guy, in the Bayou, which is the name of the podcast. But he talked about just how pretty the passes are and how receiver friendly he is and how much the Chiefs like Nussmeier. And I don't think they would have drafted him in the 2nd round if they didn't like Garrett Nussmeier, obviously. But I think this is one of those to where they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. I don't know why they would keep 7, but they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. And Nussmeier could be fighting for, what if Mahomes has to miss a couple of games?
Yeah.
Is Nussmeier the guy they go with, or is it just obviously Justin Fields? Because we'll talk with Matt Derrick about this because I want to get his thoughts on things he's looking for. But certainly the quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes is a big topic this year. What has Justin Fields looked like? I know early on in camp, you and Matt had a disagreement where Matt said, it might have been, I don't know that it was the first week or maybe it was right before camp, but it was along the lines of, if the game started today, if the Broncos game was today and Patrick couldn't go, he predicted Oladokun would be the starting quarterback.
Yeah,
and you guys went back.
I thought it was asinine. I still think it's asinine.
But what does Fields look like?
I don't care. I know what Oladokun looks like.
I agree. But Oladokun aside, what is Fields looking like? And not Oladokun, but if something were to happen to Patrick, is it automatically Fields? Or can Nussmeier do enough to where the Chiefs would actually put a rookie out there running the team if they feel like he does a better job of keeping the offense rolling and less one-dimensional with Justin Fields, who, from all indications, clips, other people's thoughts, anecdotal little things, hasn't necessarily looked the best passing the ball, Justin Fields. So we'll talk with Matt Derrick because I want to get his thoughts. He's watching every single practice, every single rep. Is Justin Fields, has he looked that good, or does he has he struggled the way that it seems like he struggled? Because oftentimes we see the clips from Mahomes throwing dimes.
Sure.
how often is somebody going to go, oh, look at this needle that Justin Fields threaded to Nico Remigio?
Sure.
We're not going to see that. We might see, hey, look, Justin Fields hit Creed Humphrey in the back of the helmet, which did happen. And it wasn't a Patrick Mahomes trying to pull the ball back and was going to throw it. The receiver slipped and he tried to pull it back and it fell out of his hands and hits Creed Humphrey in the back of the head. This was Justin Fields throwing it to the running back and hit him in the back of the head. Those are the clips we see. But those might be misleading because it's not Mahomes and Nussmeier. So I definitely want to get Matt Derrick's thoughts on that as to what he's seen with the backup quarterbacks. My number 5 is, and I went back and forth on it's an individual player, but it's a position group individual player. And I went back and forth on these two guys. My number 5 ended up being Cyrus Allen. I know that he's probably going to be higher on the list of others, but I'll get to why somebody else finished higher than him when I was going back and forth on things I wanted to see.
Get it. Yeah.
So the reason I went Cyrus Allen lower on my wanting to see list is because I've got a pretty decent idea of what he's looked like so far. And yes, putting the pads on matters, but it's also sort of putting the pads on without Patrick Mahomes. And if Fields or Nussmeier's throwing him the ball and it's off target or the timing isn't there, does that speak more about Cyrus Allen? Does that speak more about Justin Fields, Garrett Nussmeier? I don't know. Is he getting open? Things like that. That does matter. But I put him at number 5 because we've heard so much about him. And in an odd way, it's sort of like counterintuitive. We've heard so much about him in training camp that you can't wait to see him in an actual game. That doesn't matter, but it's a game where you're wearing a jersey and you're going up against a different team with referees on TV, crowd is there. But because we've heard so much about him and seen so much of him so far, I've moved him down, and I went back and forth with him and another player that I'll get into as we get higher up on the list of things that I want to see. I think if you talk to like 10 Chiefs fans and said, what are the top 3 things you're looking for? I would bet that Cyrus Allen showed up in the top 3 of probably 95 to 100, to probably not 100%, but 95% of Chiefs fans in the top 3 would be, I want to see what Cyrus Allen looks like.
So that's funny because that's a good transition to my 4 is that.
Yeah.
It's not specifically Cyrus Allen. It's wide receivers as a whole, but he's probably the number 1 in that receiver group. And again, it's because I went back and forth with 4 and 3 with the receivers, but I went 4 because I think 3 has an actual larger impact on the roster construction of the team and just things in general. So my 4 is wide receiver, Cyrus Allen.
Yeah.
Jalen Royals at some point.
See, that's my number 4. Or my number my number 4.
Yeah.
So that's why I went back and forth with Cyrus Allen and Jalen Royals. So it could have been combined to wide receivers.
I combined them to me.
Totally.
And because I wanted to throw Andrew Armstrong in there as well.
Absolutely.
So.
But just in this conversation, I went back and forth with Cyrus Allen and Jalen Royals.
Sure.
The reason I landed on Jalen Royals is, again, we've seen so much of Cyrus Allen already.
Correct.
And it's a little bit like the narrative at the beginning of a baseball season or a football season. That kind of, or what we see from that writes the narrative the rest of the season. So the Royals, we've talked about Isbell and Collins are great examples. Isbell started off hot, Collins struggled, and then the Royals were out of it, and all they've done is pass like 2 ships in the night where Isbell is bad again, and Collins has been OPSing over 800 for 50 games now. But that's sort of dismissed because we're not paying as much attention because we're watching Cags and Carter and Bobby and whoever else.
And Chiefs training camp.
That's right. For Jalen Royals, the narrative was written early on when they weren't wearing pads about he's dropping the passes. Yeah. He's not on the same page with Mahomes. Good God, it's year number 2, man. How is a guy that came in as a 5th rounder already ahead of you and in a better connection with Patrick Mahomes than you as a year 2 player? How is that guy, a 5th round rookie, doing that? And that was early on. And then what we've seen since then is, you know what, Jalen Royals looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The flip side of you hear, like, watching Hard Knocks, and it was funny when they get into the meetings, and Mike McDonald's going around the room, and hey, what are we looking for? What do we want to see? What are we learning from these guys? And before the first preseason game, this was like the first week of training camp. He was like, all right, what are we learning about these guys? And they cut it up into quick little snippets of the coaches that went, obviously it matters when the pads come on. Well, we'll see when the pads come on. The next coach, the pads will tell the story. Next coach, well, I mean, obviously it matters when the pads come on.
Are we sure it's not just Rashee Rice after 24, 25, and 26?
Right. I mean, it was hilarious because every single coach says that.
Yeah.
But while we hear coaches say that, like I think it's interesting that Jalen Royals had rough practices in shells, but actually has looked pretty good when the pads have come on. Shouldn't that be a bigger deal than in shells? So that's why I want to see that, is because I feel like Jalen Royals' narrative, by him not getting on the field last year, even when people were injured, and the Cyrus Allen love and the immediacy of, okay, push Jalen Royals aside. It's Cyrus Allen, and good God, Royals is dropping the passes and with shells on. I mean, you're not even going 11 on 11. You're not even being guarded, right? I mean, Mansour Lane isn't even out there. L'Jarius Sneed isn't out there. Like, you're going up against, backup
Kevin Knowles or Melvin Smith.
Right, or Kyer Elam or whatever, and you're dropping the pass. What's going on here? And then the pads came on, and now he's winning.
Yeah.
So that's why I put him above Cyrus Allen, is because I'm not out there watching every play.
Sure.
And I felt like early on the narrative of Jalen Royals this upcoming season was written because so much is consumed the first 2 or 3 days of training camp because we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And every little thing that's said about it is watched and consumed.
Correct.
But then it kind of turns into white noise as every day. It's like, hold on, was that Tuesday or was that Thursday's come? Which practice was that? Was that the Saturday practice or the month? It all runs together. But the first 3 days of practice, you're paying attention to everything somebody says. You're reading all of the breakdowns of what this person saw in practice.
You've been starved for it, and so you just consume it like a glutton.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. I'm with you. I think Royals, funny enough, I'm not crazy surprised by that because I think his physicality and just – my thoughts. I think he'll be like Juju Smith-Schuster, at least not the one that went 1,400 yards, but the guy that if he hits his peak as an 800-yard receiver, a very valuable piece. I see that from Jalen Royals, a guy who can be a good blocker, do the little things that this Chiefs team needs. I like how you have him at 4. So you and I are pretty lockstep so far. At 3, I thought this was more important for me. The return game.
I like that.
Because I think this has a lot of implications on the roster. If Brashard Smith looks like a dude back there, do you need Nico? The issue is now, though, with the new rules, new-ish rules, newer rules, you need 2 kick returners. Who's back there? Are you going to go with Brashard Smith and let's say DeMarcado? Brashard Smith and Emmett Johnson? Well, now you have 2 running backs back there. What happens if an injury transpires, right? That's doubling your injury risk, which might not be high, but still there's a risk there. Ken Royals or Allen or Andrew Armstrong? I don't think so. I don't know if you want a 6'4" dude back there as a returner, but I guess for me the return game in general, because right now I look at this and I look at Smith and I look at Nico. It's about it. Can someone else do it? If not, Nico's on your team. Well, if Nico's on your team, that means he's wide receiver 6. They're not keeping 7, especially if you think Nussmeier's making it, especially with other positions that we're looking at as well. So I think the return game for me is fascinating because I think this will be a big determination of how the back end of the roster is actually constructed.
Yeah, I think that I can even throw this into the conversation about wide receiver too, because we know Dave Toub loves Nico Remigio. And then he talked, Wednesday, about the improved vision of Nico Remigio. The vision is better. What do you want to see? Well, I'd like to see touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, people would like to see touchdowns on returns, and it can help. And certainly with an offense that has struggled the last couple of years, the return game can be, that added little boost, that added little shot of energy to get you into better field position. But unfortunately, the return game has not necessarily been really about the returner. It's been about the flags that happen so often on the return game. But for Nico, I'll throw it in there with the return game and I'll combine it with the wide receivers, because if he looks like the same old wide receiver and Andrew Armstrong looks pretty good and Jalen Royals and Cyrus Allen, we know those guys aren't going to be cut, and you're like, okay, there's 6. You're not going to keep 7. But if you're going to keep 4 running backs, then you're probably going to be releasing Nico Remigio, whether Dave Toub likes him or not. Because if I'm Andy Reid, I'm not gonna keep Nico Remigio on the roster just to be a kick and punt returner if I feel like I've got other options of guys that will also play certain positions there. And if Brashard Smith can return kicks, that's great. Punts, you know me. I have given my thoughts for a number of years on the punt returns. The punt return is like, doctors and nurses. It's the Puntocratic oath. At first, do no harm. So, fair catch or don't have anybody there. Just make sure that when that punt is in the air, no matter what, Patrick Mahomes is going to get the football. So, at first, do no harm. So, if nobody's back there, or if somebody is just there to fair catch it, fine. I'm totally fine with that. Now, I can understand the argument that with this offense, you might need a little bit of a boost, as opposed to the offenses of the past, just give them the ball no matter where it is, and they'll go and score probably. So don't, have a muffed punt or a fumble or something like that. Now might be more important to get a little bit of a boost, get a better field position. But the problem is when you don't fair catch, you also run the risk of blocking the back, holding, which is the issue for Dave Toubs. That's the thing about the return game and Nico Remigio specifically for me as a wide receiver. Has the return game for the Chiefs struggled because of the returner, or has it struggled because they are so bad at committing penalties?
Yeah, it's kind of a combination.
Yeah.
You're right. At first, do no harm. It's what we talked about for, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I mean, and then Nico got back there, and then Nico, it was the floor. And I think you do have a really good floor with Nico. This is not a knock. I think there's a lot of skill in being a floor guy. You got to have a floor guy.
You got to have a floor guy. I like that. And that's what Chris Carter meant.
And Nico is your floor guy in the return game. He's not the most explosive guy. I mean, we've not seen it. And you're right, maybe it's penalties, but I don't remember him breaking a long one and then all of a sudden it's called back. It's normally
the only one I remember is divisional round against the Texans.
Yeah, and normally it's like he got nice 9 yards. Oh, but there's a penalty.
Yeah.
It's very rare when it's like, he got 40 yards on that, and then there's a penalty. It was always like, wow, they're actually just, if he just would have fair caught it, it wouldn't have mattered because there was still a penalty. But I don't know. I think to me the return game is just really impactful.
I like that. Let's take a timeout. We'll get into our top three on what we're going to see from the Chiefs.
That was my third, but still.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into my top. We'll get into our last five. My three and your two. We'll take a timeout.
Smart.
We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. More so next. All right, men, if you're out there and happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, Heartland Men's Health is here to help. It's a condition that can cause many different things, including depression and arguments and breakups that even contribute to divorce. Oftentimes, your partner thinks it is because of them, and it is something that is caused by many different underlying conditions. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals, which is typically hey, this is what affects most men, so the pills or the herbals should help if you fall into that category. Maybe it also stops being as effective. Well, Heartland Men's Health has treatments that work when the pills or the herbals fail or don't work, whatever it might be. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99, and that includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit, it's free. If it does, there you go. They've got an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes. Drake
is a man after my heart.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Your heart is there left to be won, huh?
Drake, you really got me now.
Oh, is that right?
And like most of my life, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. That song, Van Halen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought it was Van Hagar. I don't know. I just made something up. I heard people say stuff like that.
Well, yeah, the other singer was Sammy Hagar, so you would have
Yeah.
Van Halen, the Van Hagar. Yeah,
I just heard people talk about things like that, so I just said something that I...
Who was the other
Feels
album
like a
with
bag of
Drake?
sand,
Was
right?
it the singer of like Extreme or something like that?
More Than Words is what he offers,
Wasn't
typically,
the
right?
singer of Extreme?
Sharon?
Oh yeah,
Gary?
Gary Sharon. Yeah, Gary Sharon. Yeah.
How about that?
We got that. Hey, we know Ball.
Yes.
Drake.
That's right.
I saw the OU 812 tour.
Oh man.
Did you go to that one, Sterling?
No.
Oh.
No, I did not.
Oh, that's too
I
bad.
did see David Lee Roth, Diamond Dave, with him one time.
Nice. Good for you. That sounds fun. Did you enjoy it that night? Where were you, 12?
I was young. Yeah.
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 That's good. Was there a distinct smell in the audience?
Yeah. I had no idea what it was at that age. I was like,
Weird.
whoa, what is that?
What's this thingy? Wow, this is an odd odor. Somebody
Musical
farted.
youth. Pass the Dutchie on your left hand side, guys. Come on.
Mom, somebody farted. Everybody keeps
Mom,
farting
there's a
around here.
skunk in here.
Everybody keeps farting around here. What's going
It's
on?
like the bathroom at Worlds of Fun.
Let's get into our top three of what we, well, my top three, your top two. Let's get into the final five that we have for our, I guess, attention, interest for tomorrow. Number three for me goes a little bit with the return game that you talked about, but for me, it's from a different standpoint because Brashard Smith, I'm interested to see the running back depth chart. Like if Kenneth Walker doesn't play, which we wouldn't expect him to play, who's the first running back in there? Is it DeMarcado? Is it Brashard Smith? How often does Emmett Johnson play? If whoever is out there with the first team gets one series, is that one series DeMarcado? Or is that one series Brashard Smith? Is Brashard Smith used on specific third downs? Or is Brashard Smith the starter and DeMarcado is just a third down back? Emmett Johnson in there, like I mentioned. Like, I want to see what happens behind Kenneth Walker or what their view is of those guys. Because it could go a long way, and it could affect Nico Remigio if they only keep three running backs. Maybe they're keeping 7 wide receivers. Or maybe they're keeping an extra tight end. Maybe they're keeping an extra offensive lineman. Maybe they're going defense and keeping Xavier Wampa. It opens up a spot if they don't have 4 running backs. And I don't know, like, you never know what other teams will covet. I don't know that Brashard Smith would make it to the practice squad. I would imagine he would because I don't know how much he's shown. But there might be a team out there that's really bad at running back and says we want a little bit of juice, and he's a good returner.
Yeah.
So we'll bring him in here to be our return man and our 4th running back and a guy that we can throw the ball to and screen passes and things like that. That's what we're going to do. Or it's a team that, like the Chiefs often do, well, we kind of like this guy. We were going to bring him in as a UDFA, but the Chiefs drafted him in the 7th round so we can get a chance to do that. And now he's available. We'll bring him in, and if he's not any good, we'll cut him.
Yeah.
But we'll bring him on our 53-man roster. We've got a space or a spot and bring him in or he's gone. They're not going to cut Emmett Johnson or Emery DeMarcado. So if Brashard Smith is running with the first group out there tomorrow, I hate to say first team, but the first, because it's like, are they going to play the starters? Yeah, they will literally play their starters because whoever runs out first will be the starter. But are they going to play their 1s or their 2s or whoever else? I want to see what Brashard Smith offers. And maybe even more importantly, when it's a passing down and he's got to go and pick up a blitz or an audible and he's got to, be on the right side of the quarterback and cross the face to pick up somebody or know who his job or his responsibility, who that player is. I didn't think when training camp started I'd be as interested in Brashard Smith, just seeing what he can do on the field. But somehow as I sat down and put pen to paper and thinking about it, I'm like, well, you know what? I kept moving him up a little bit for some reason. In the depth chart overall, not necessarily specifically him, but we haven't, how much have we heard about Emery DeMarcado? Have we heard the coaches talk about him? Have we seen clips of, oh man, DeMarcado just broke this play? A lot of Kenneth Walker, as you would expect. And then Emmett Johnson, a couple plays from him because of the rookie. Andy Reid has been asked, how many times about Brashard Smith? A couple times? 2, 3 times he's weighed in different press conferences about Brashard Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can remember a coach talking about Emery DeMarcado.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either.
I don't even know what positives or negatives are there. And maybe that's just because it's a given he's number 2.
Yeah.
There you go. He's the number 2 guy. And it's Walker, DeMarcado. We don't have to ask about DeMarcado because he's on the team as a third down guy. But I just, except for him talking and being at the podium, I don't remember much him being talked about. So who runs out with the first team that's out there in the first drive? Is it Brashard Smith? Is it DeMarcado? And if it's a third down, who comes in?
Yeah.
If it's the second drive, who comes in? I think the running back depth chart can go a long way because if Brashard Smith is the 4th and is kind of a distant 4th, then that can lead the way for Nico Remigio to be the 7th wide receiver. And it might be like the 53rd man on the roster could be a 7th receiver or a 4th running back.
Sure.
So a running back depth chart moved up higher than I thought it would be when I actually sat down and thought about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I still don't see him keeping 7 wide receivers. I just think that there's not enough juice there. But point remains,
Remember a couple of years ago when we were like, there's so much juice, they can't keep less than 7 wide receivers. And it was like,
you got to trade Amir Smith-Marset. How do you?
You can't go without Justin Ross or name any other random wide receiver that it was like, you can't keep only 6 receivers. They've got so much
I think
depth.
Nico was one of them, I think.
Yes, Nico and Justin Ross. And who could you possibly cut on this team?
There's 8 guys.
There's like 7 all-pros.
Maurice French, you can't
Yes.
move on from him.
It's like when they talk about offensive line, like, well, we really have 6 starting offensive linemen. We just can only have 5. We got 8 starting receivers, but there can only be 2 or 3 out there on the field at the same time. How could you possibly keep everybody? Now you learn from that and go, there's not enough juice to keep 7 guys. And that last one being Armstrong or Nico or Holiday. Brownlee made the squad last year, helped that Rashee Rice was suspended, but he still made the squad last year. So, is he a guy that, is flying under the radar because it's a name we already know from last year? So we'll see. But yeah, I think running back depth chart was much higher than I expected it to be. What's your number 2?
Tight ends. Just in general, you have Travis. You kind of have Noah Gray. Kind of. Jared Wiley left practice Wednesday again.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of the honestly, all the tight ends have seemingly been injured since they've been in KC.
Yep.
It's like what they do. It's hey, you're going to come here and get injured. You're year 1. And then maybe you get healthy. I don't know what they have outside of Travis and Noah Gray. Outside of 36-year-old, 37-year-old Travis Kelce and a Noah Gray who took a massive step back last year.
And the a Noah Gray who at Bleacher Report's top 1,000 and the tight ends that were ranked, and Daniel Harms, who is a Chiefs fan but analyst now, ranked the tight ends, and Noah Gray came in 69th. Like, that's the Chiefs. There are teams with 3 tight ends ranked before you get to the Chiefs' number 2 tight end.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the dad who's got the son on the team and the dad coach, so you're being a little bit harsher on that kid because you don't want to show favoritism. Or maybe there's so much that he knows about Noah Gray that he sees that. Either way, he's the one ranking him. He could have kicked Noah Gray up 10 spots, 15 spots, whatever. But, you're talking about barely in the top 70 of tight ends and multiple teams with 3 tight ends ranked well ahead of Noah Gray. That's the issue that you run
Rams
into.
might have 4 dudes.
I mean, right? The Bills have 3 in like the top 36 because Spencer Hawes and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
You've got Atlanta with like 3 different tight ends that are ranked in the top 40 because of a blocking tight end, then a backup tight end, and then Kyle Pitts. Like, you see teams that have these multiple 2 and 3 tight ends with blockers, and the Chiefs' number 2 tight end is a guy that doesn't really do one thing special. It's kind of just, and I like Noah Gray a lot, but he's kind of just generic in all aspects. Blocking, kind of generic. Receiving, he catches the ball when it's thrown his way, but how often is he open? It's kind of generic in that aspect too. So yeah, that's an issue. I like that one. And what do they look like?
Wiley, Brittingstool.
I don't even know if Brittingstool is a real person.
Yeah,
I mean, we've heard the name.
Gillenborg's out for the year, right? Is he on the?
Yep,
He was on
he
the
got put
IR.
on the IR, so he's done for the year. Kind of like he's the Brittingstool of this year.
And then the year prior to that was Wiley.
Yeah, but that was midseason. But yes, but it was a
Yeah,
rookie.
still a
But it was
rookie.
still a rookie tight end that ended up
3 in a
getting
row.
injured. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you know my thoughts.
Mhm.
I don't know if either of these guys are going to flash. You're going to have at least 3, maybe 4 tight ends.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I guess maybe I'm also looking at the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Rams as far as can one of those guys
interesting.
sneak through? Can they release one of those guys? Can you trade for one of those guys?
I like
They have
that.
like 5 tight ends the Rams do that I would say would be tight end at least 3, if not 2 on this team.
Yeah, I like that one. The tight end depth chart. My number 2, I cheated here, and I admit that I cheated.
Oh.
I went rookie trenches.
Oh, you went both.
Benson and Woods.
Boo.
Sorry. Because I wanted to keep number 1 the number 1, but I wanted to include all of those. What I should have done was just combined Royals and Cyrus. But the reason I separated them is because I wanted to make the point about why Royals, to me, is more of going to be a focus for me tomorrow than Cyrus. I went Benson and Woods for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
We've heard about Benson and what Peter Woods looks like in a game. I don't really have to get too in-depth with that because I know I cheated on that one. So I went I went trenches, rookie trenches, Benson and Woods, Khalil and Peter. Khalil Woods and Peter Benson. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. One player, Khalil Woods. That's what I want to see tomorrow. See, I didn't cheat now. It's just one person, Khalil Woods. Or the other guy that I'm looking to see, but not going to include, is Peter Benson.
You're a son of a gun for
What? Why? Why? What was your number 1?
that. You know what you've done.
What have I done?
The rookie defensive line trench
Oh.
or trenches.
I'm
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh.
Both in the trenches. Both sides. No, for me, Khalil Benson, I didn't throw in there in my top 5 because I think,
Yeah, that's why I cheated.
yeah, he's gonna play.
Same
I'm
reason
not-
as Cyrus
I'm not-
Allen,
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I went D line in general because not just rookies, FAU, Gelati. Gelati's not
FAU.
playing right, I assume.
I don't think so, but I mean, he's returned to practice.
We
and-
just don't know. That's
Yeah.
the hard part. Is well, all of this. It's.
I mean, he may not play if the starters don't play anyway, so I mean, who knows?
FAU, just everyone in general on the D line, I want to see because not Chris Jones, but I'm talking about the
Yes.
guys that we need to see more from the FAUs, the Peter Woods, the R. Mason Thomas,
Mhm.
Cole Brevard,
Yeah.
VJ Anthony, right?
Yep.
That'd be nice to see just in general. Emmanuel Agba, I guess, to an extent.
Mhm.
I mean, that's down the list of guys, but does he have anything left? I'm so concerned about the D-line, and it's such an important part of today's day and age of football.
Yeah.
Can you get after the quarterback? And right now, I think the answer is no. So, D-line, get after the quarterback. I don't care if you're a starter or a backup. Get him.
Go and get. My number 1 we'll get into after the break. I thought
I'm
we would,
teased.
Yeah, I thought I'm surprised, and maybe I'm missing the boat, or maybe you're just really stupid. I thought we were heading towards having the same number 1,
Oh, wow.
but it didn't show up in your top 5,
Wow.
and one of yours in your top 5 didn't show up in my top 5. So we're
You
gonna-
dumb bastard.
A schooner is a sailboat, you big stupid head. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get into what I'll be looking for in one of the top things in interest level for tomorrow. More Zone coming up next. You know, we make predictions every single day about politics and pop culture and the economy and the biggest stories making headlines. And Kalshi, America's #1 predictions market platform, lets you trade those predictions in a live market. And when it comes to movies, you know, we talked about what the best movie would be winning at the Oscars, but also, you can do individual actresses and actors. Right now, Julianne Moore is leading the way at 32% to win Best Actress. $100 will pay you almost $300 if you go that route. Maybe you're looking at Best Actor, Ryan Gosling, Robert Pattinson. A couple of those movies that are out there. Mentioned that Odyssey is leading the way. Pretty heavy favorites for, Best Movie. Best Actor also, Matt Damon, Tom Cruise in there as well. So you can go and trade all of those things. The music industry, it can all be traded on Kalshi. And the best part about Kalshi is that if you're trading against peers in a live market, you can buy in and out of your position because there is no house. When you're trading against peers, as the percentages change, you can then take that profit or maybe trade out if it isn't going the way that you thought it would go. You don't have to wait till the end when it is over to see, did I win or did I lose? Did I win all the money I could have won, or did I lose all the money that I was trading on that market? No, you can trade in and out at any given time. Simply download the Kalshi app and use code JASON810 to get $10 when you trade 10. It's JASON810, Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. It is time for what, at least for me, the number one that I'm looking forward to for tomorrow. I'm surprised you didn't have it in your top five. So either I'm way off or you are way off, or beauty is in the eye of the beholder and we can both be right because it's what we are looking for. So, it's not like, this is what everybody should be looking for. My number one that I'll be watching for is, I was thinking about cheating on this one, but I didn't do it. I decided not to cheat on something.
We'll tell your wife that. I'm sure she'll
Yes.
be
Oh,
thrilled. I thought about cheating, but I
Believe
didn't.
me, it'd be the dumbest thing I've ever done. So, you know what I mean? So no chance. You threw me off track there.
You thought about cheating.
No, on this.
Oh.
On this. I've never done that. Because I went Benson and Woods with number 2 and cheated there. So I was thinking about going entire secondary, but I didn't do it. I decided just to specifically go with cornerback depth.
Sure.
And to who's going to be, does Christian Fulton play? Probably not. But is Noah Williams out there just to get extra reps? If the true starters don't play, is Noah Williams not out there? Or, look, he's going to start this year. He didn't get a whole lot of experience last year. Reps matter, so get him out there and have him play. What does Kennedy look like? Unfortunately, Kader Kohu got kept out of practice yesterday. So is he going to play tomorrow? I would guess not if he couldn't practice in a 10-10-10 yesterday. I really doubt Mansour Delane is going to play.
I doubt L'Jarius Sneed plays.
I would doubt L'Jarius Sneed plays. So what does the depth look like at cornerback for this team? I'd love to be able to watch Mansour Delane and Noel Williams and Kader Kohu and L'Jarius Sneed. I'd love to be able to watch all of that. But we're not going to. So what's the depth at cornerback look like? Because if it looks good, if there is a team that has some issues at cornerback, at least it gives you potentially the possibility. Is that like a 10% chance? Potentially the possibility of trading Christian Fulton, which would save you about $7 million against the cap.
Sure.
You'd free up $7 million. I'd have to go back and look at the exact number, but it's a pretty decent chunk of change from the $10 million cap hit or whatever it is this year for Christian Fulton. It's a decent chunk of change that you would save by trading him.
Yeah, but what could you use it on?
You're
That's the.
not going to use it on Terrion Arnold
No.
since he signed with the Seahawks.
Which is also absurd, by the way, that the Lions had to cut him, or else
Yeah.
that they're a horrendous organization.
Yep.
But then Seattle gets praised because
Yes.
they're giving a guy a second chance.
I mean, it's boy, if you get this right, then
the
you have
dumbassery, the asinine-ery of
asininery. I like it.
those situations blow my mind.
That's right.
I don't mind what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It probably came in 6th for me
Okay.
because I thought about cornerback too.
Yeah.
That was a big thought of mine, but I go, Sneed's probably not playing,
Yeah.
Kohu's probably not playing, Mansour Delane's probably not playing,
For sure.
Fulton's probably not playing. So then I go, all right.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
It was like, okay, yeah, Noah Williams probably will. Kennedy probably will. Kyrie Elam probably will. Kevin Knowles,
Kevin
Belton
Knowles probably
Smith.
will, yeah.
I mean, and that's fine, but it
Mhm.
wasn't as
Yeah. No, I get it.
with your top 4-ish
Yeah.
or for your top 5 with Noah
No.
Williams being. I'm like,
Absolutely. And it for that reason is actually why I ended up moving corner. So as I was thinking about all the different ones, moving them up and down, I'm like, no, I'd actually want to see this more than that. I moved it up because, okay, I have an idea of what Mansour Delane will be. I have an idea of what Christian Fulton will look like because we saw him last year. I know what L'Jarius Sneed can look like if he's healthy and playing. But I'd like to see Noah Williams out there. So even if it's not the starters, I want to see Noah Williams play.
sure.
But Kyrie Elam is a guy that may make the team as the last cornerback. Kevin Knowles. And I could even throw in, again, I didn't cheat. I could have thrown in the safeties as well to see what Xavier Wampa looks like, to see who the guy. Does Alohi Gilman play just because you need maybe some reps? Because Steve Spagnuolo said earlier this week, the secondary's coming along a little bit slower than he would have hoped because of the new guys. And by the way, it's something that Tyrann Mathieu talked about in his podcast, and we'll play a number of those clips today in the show, but I didn't cut this one up. But he was asked, hey, is the Chiefs window still open? And he was like, yeah, you got Mahomes as long as you got Mahomes. He said, but the one thing that worries me is you're replacing like 6 or 7 different guys on defense, and that communication and the secondary and all of that stuff worries me because the defense has been a big part of to why this dynasty has been there. So does Alohi Gilman play just because things are coming along slowly? We'll talk to Matt Derrick about all those things and more next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You like this one, Sterling?
Just saw Black Crows. They were awesome. They
Really?
had
Like outside, or usually we have that
Whiskey
turkey
Myers
vulture.
opened up, which I love whiskey, and then and Whiskey
and
Myers.
people named Myers
I
for
like
some reason.
both.
Like Jacoby, you big fan of him? You wanted the Chiefs to trade for him,
I
right?
actually did want Jacoby
know.
Myers. I love whiskey and Myers. So
See, there
Whiskey
you go.
Myers is just a good combo. Then Black Crows, yeah, she talks to angels.
Does
You
she?
guys said you were going to talk to some of the angels here.
Dude, I
How about that, man? I mean, Drake is
love
on
you,
it.
Drake. I want to give you a hug.
Drake is on it. Michael better
I'm
watch
glad
out.
there's glass. I'm so glad there's glass.
Michael better. Yeah, Mick. There's no glass between Mick and Sterling, and Mick walks in, and Sterling gets all handsy and touchy feely.
There's nothing wrong with giving your boys a hug. There's nothing wrong with that.
don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, you are actually.
No, Walter, you're not wrong. You're just an ass.
Yes, that's right. You're just an AH. So I want to. Matt Derrick's going to join us at 11:15. He's had a morning, and I feel bad for him because Matt is so committed to hanging out with us on 810. Since rookies reported to camp, Matt has had 2 days off from driving to St. Joe. This would be his third day off, but he's driving here.
Yeah.
Then he's driving to Arrowhead tomorrow. So that means Sunday is the next time that he does not have to get in his car and drive at least 40 minutes. So he could have very easily been like, dude, I am going to enjoy not driving. Let's just do it on the phone. But he's so committed that he's on his way here, so we appreciate Matt Derrick
Yeah, I said
doing the things that he does.
I said in person today. He goes, unless you can't handle my natural heat. And I said, we need the natural heat, playa.
I miss your Musk.
And he goes, we have some fun texts, me and Matt. And he goes,
I love your text when you tell us on the air. I do. I'm not
It's
even
kinda
being,
fun, right?
I'm not even joking. You guys have an interesting text relationship
Yeah.
about Fridays being
Shows.
on the show.
yeah, so I said, we need the natural heat, playa. And he goes, on my way, having a morning. Some dude rear-ended me twice.
Jeez.
Not in a good way. I'll update on my ETA. I was like, damn,
That
hope you're
sucks,
okay,
dude.
bro. I'm totally reading this on air. He goes, LOL, I'm fine. Pretty sure he was drunk already. Or still drunk from last night. Quite a day so far.
Wow.
ETA 11:15. So there we go.
That sucks. Well,
If I got rear-ended twice, I'll tell you what I'm not doing.
coming in to talk on the show here?
No, I'd be sorry.
Yeah,
I'm hitting
I'd
the
be-
golf course.
You would just cancel the whole hit. You wouldn't like. I might head back home and be like, hey, just well, let's do a phoner. I'm gonna head back home and we'll just do it on the phone, man. It's been a morning and I was on my way, but some guy who was either still drunk or got drunk,
Going to
car
see his
accident twice.
grandparents,
Yes,
Tony Romo style,
that's right. Just came from the golf course.
allegedly.
He only had like 2. It was fine. He's got a back injury, so he had to stretch out and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, he's a grinder. So I'm
That's right. I appreciate that.
glad we have Matt Derrick.
I appreciate that. I want to talk a little bit of Royals baseball real quick, and we'll have Matt on at 11:15. So we keep and it. I don't want to say we. I do. Lugo's going to the mound tonight, and Lugo carrying his 4.43 ERA. And like how we're watching the rest of the season, we know that it's from a different vantage point than, let's say, even though they traded Skubal and Mize, how the Tigers are watching the rest of the season, since, they're doing it again. 2024, they sold everybody and won and made the wild card. This year, they trade Skubal and Mize, and they're 9-3. And now they're only 2 games out of first place behind the White Sox.
They must have been the cancers on the team,
I
clearly.
mean, unbelievable, dude. Why didn't they do this before so they would have kept Skubal, so they wouldn't have 2 top 100 prospects in the
they
organization
had
now?
to cut the fat.
That's right.
Literally, Tariq Skubal's a big dude. He's
And Casey Mize and Skubal were the issue. Clearly,
obviously
2 guys that are going to make probably like a combined $700 million in the offseason are the issue. But we're not watching the Royals that way the rest of the year. Lugo goes to the mound tonight. And we've talked about some of the rough patches that he has had. From June until middle July, he was pretty rough. That was a really bad stretch to where he had almost a 7 ERA in those 7 starts.
Not
And that
great,
was
Bob.
And that was when it was like, okay, here's panic setting inning. Here's panic setting in every inning, I guess, if you want to combine those. Panic setting in because that would be such an anchor and an albatross to be on the payroll next year for a guy that would be giving you a 6 ERA. That in those 7 games, I mean, again, is he even playable? And then you're paying him $21 million? That would be a disaster for this team trying to compete next year. So we talked about that, and that's going into the trade deadline and everything. It's like, can you move Lugo? Well, since that stretch, he's had 5 games that he has started. And outside of the oddity in Colorado,
Yeah.
4 of the 5 games that he's pitched in, he's had a 2.8 ERA with a 1 whip.
You got to count that game, though.
You do have to count that game. So I'm with you. Counting that game, the numbers don't look great. It's still a sub 4 ERA.
Yeah.
Even with that game, it's still a 3.9 ERA. The craziness, though, is like Lugo was, and this is what concerns me about, like, is the arm getting ready to go? And maybe not go as in, like, it falls apart and he's got to have Tommy John, but is it getting ready to go to where he's just not going to be close to the guy that he was before? And that is in that stretch, even in the stretch where he's got a sub 4 ERA. He's got 18 Ks in 30 innings and 12 walks.
Yeah.
He's also hit 3 batters. So that means by walk or hit by pitch, he's put 15 guys on base and struck out 18 in 30 innings.
You can put guys on base if you, like, we see closers do this all the time. Well, they're going to strike you, the next guy out. It doesn't matter. That's their game. Lugo's not a guy who can afford to put free base runners on hit by pitch or by walk. You have to have better control. His best attribute this year has actually been his walk percentage, and it's still only 55th percentile.
Yeah.
Everything else is below that. He gets no swing and miss. 4th percentile in chase rate. 5th percentile in whiff rate. Doesn't get enough strikeouts. His expected ERA is brutal as a 5.26. I just... Can he be a guy on a playoff roster as a pitcher? Yeah. But that $20 million's brutal. Can he be a 4.3 4 ERA, which what he is this year. Can he be that guy next year? Yeah, I think he can probably do that, but it's just been so bad. I think he has to nibble because his stuff's no longer as good as it once was, which is now in turn leading to more walks.
Drake, can you hit the breaking news sounder? So this was rumored the last few days, but nobody would go on the record and say anything to where there could be a report. But the Field of Dreams game played last night. It was rumored, starting like, I don't know, a few days ago, maybe a week ago, it's like, oh, there's a chance the Royals will be in that. Okay, sure, there's a chance the Chiefs will be in Australia. Breaking news. Major League Baseball and Universal Pictures announced today Major League Baseball will return to Field of Dreams next season when the Kansas City Royals will host the Boston Red Sox in Dyersville, Iowa. People will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they don't even know.
One constant through all the years, Ray,
has been baseball.
has been baseball.
America's rolled by like an army of steamrollers.
Steamrollers.
Been erased like a blackboard.
Been erased like a blackboard.
Rebuilt,
and
erased again. Baseball. Let's mark the times.
Yeah, I think this is awesome, and I love that there's Field of
was good.
Dreams games.
Mm-hmm.
You know my thoughts. I think they should do way more games. There's 162 games a year.
That's right.
Play them in fun locations, at least a series or two.
Yep.
I love the Royals will be in the Field of Dreams.
So
Yep.
Kansas City will play there next year, right? Or KU's playing there this year, I guess, in October,
Yes.
right?
Right?
Against Iowa?
Yeah. So in the Field of Dreams, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, the last time the Royals had a neutral site game, this is the third, according to Kurt Nelson, the third neutral site game in Royals history. The last one was was it the opening of Ameritrade Park in Omaha leading up to the College World Series when the Royals played the Tigers in Omaha in 2019? Or was TD Ameritrade already open? I think it was already open before that.
I think it had been there because didn't they say that was it Nicky Lopez? Who was it that at Creighton
That was his first. That was his first ever home run in
yes,
the big
it
leagues,
was.
right?
Yes, correct.
But
Good,
he hit one
good
there when he
pull.
played in college at Creighton. Is that
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, that was his first ever home run in the big leagues. Was at that stadium that he played
college,
at with Creighton.
That's a great call.
But that's the last time was the leading up to the College World Series. They played the Tigers at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha. And the only time before that was the Royals played the White Sox at Milwaukee's County Stadium as part of an agreement for the White Sox to play one game versus each American League team there in Milwaukee.
That's the weirdest sounding deal I've ever heard.
That's odd. September 26, 1969, the Royals played the Chicago White Sox at Milwaukee's County Stadium as part of an agreement for the White Sox to play one game versus each American League team in Milwaukee. They trying to that's interesting.
So it's only one game, right? It's not a series.
Yeah, it's just
the one game. It's the one
game.
off.
August 12th, 2027. I'm going to go ahead and put in Todd. Sorry, Sterling. Putting in vacation for August 12th. Maybe the 11th and 13th as well.
Wait, I'm off then too.
I
I'm
don't think
gonna be in Iowa.
I just called dibs.
Drake.
Drake, seniority. Can I do that? Can I call dibs, seniority?
Wait, Drake. I thought you were gonna host the show that day.
No.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and see when tickets go on sale because I'm going to go ahead and need to get a number of those. But
Because that can't seat a lot.
No, it doesn't seat very many. I don't think it's a two-decker.
That is so darn cool, man.
Dude, I cannot wait.
Again, I do think that this should be more of a thing in baseball where, again, you put somebody in Omaha with a College World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is so fun.
They should play a game in Williamsport before the Little League World Series starts in once the regions
Same
are over.
field, too.
Same field.
46 feet.
Yes.
Imagine Mizorowski.
From 46 feet. Throwing what's 105 equivalent from 46 feet? I got to look it up now.
Yeah.
I got to look it up with the equivalent feet. What is?
Oh, dude. Death, if it hits you, I don't know.
Feet.
Does not compute.
MPH 46 to 9 to 60.6. There we go. Let's see.
137? I'm just going to guess.
Pitch speed calculator.
I'm going to guess 137.
I want to flip it. No, convert to. There you go.
We're not a math show. We know this.
Yep, I know.
You're in the math zone.
That's right.
We get it wrong.
There we go. Here we go. No, I don't want the free PDF. No, I
just
don't
want
want
the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you signing up for something right now?
Good night, man.
Did you get boomered? Did you get
No, I just
fooled by
I just want the conversion.
Facebook? Geez, Facebook.
Yeah. No, I want the other conversion, dude.
Okay, if I beat you to this is gonna be bad. Little
God.
League
No, just I need the conversion.
MLB pitch
But I want to
speed
convert
chart.
from 60 to 46. It keeps giving me 46. It's like 70 miles an hour would be the equivalent of one. No, I want to know what the equivalent of 104 would be from 46 feet. No, I don't want to put in my email. I'm not trying to get spammed, dude.
Okay, 105 would be 138.1.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
I was close. What did I say? 137?
Yeah, you did. That's pretty good.
Ball knower.
Ball knower for you, I guess, apparently. So there you go.
Wow. So good luck. 138 from Mizorowski would be.
That's, I mean, it would get. By the way, if you're not wanting to catch, you're not wanting to be the catcher. But also, here's what's crazy about it: from 46 feet, when it hits the catcher, it hasn't even started to have the tail and the movement on it. The run and the different movement that makes that fastball so ridiculous. It hasn't even started to do that yet. Well, now it's just straight. You know what Major League Baseball players say? Oh, I can hit 100 plus if it's straight. Okay, 138.
By the way, did you know that in college it's 0.1 feet or 0.1 inches shorter than the Major League Baseball mound?
Your mom goes to college. Let's talk with Matt Derrick coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Royals are playing in the Field of Dreams game next year on August 12th against the Boston Red Sox. That is awesome. We talked about maybe the Royals playing in Williamsport. I do have the calculation here now. Apparently from 46 feet to 60 feet, a Matt Strom fastball is still a home run. So there we go. That's the exact conversion chart for that 46 to 60 feet, 6 inches ends up being 415 feet.
Esteves is finally like, well, my fastball's back.
Hey, what's 90 from 46 feet? Let's go.
Oh, wow, he's
There we
finally
go, man.
back.
All right. Matt Derrick is with us. He always brings us fastball, hanging out with us on a Friday edition. Matt, you okay? You all right? You doing all right, man?
This is the best day of training camp so far for me.
You would not have beat anybody to training camp if the morning happened to you on your way to St. Joe is what happened to you today to head south. Maybe it's the north versus south thing. I don't know.
I know I've been cursed this training camp. I mean, I can't even begin to describe it. I mean,
Describe it.
Don't even begin. He can't begin.
Here's the thing I've always wanted to be able to say publicly and everything like this. For legal reasons, I probably can't get into everything that's happened to me during training camp.
Thanks for she.
That's just enough. I have enough mystery there and everything.
What?
The bright thing is that I'm not being sued.
Okay, good.
I'm not being arrested.
That's good.
So I have those.
Well, there are chances of those things.
Those two things. No, I mean I'm ruling those two things out.
That's good.
Okay.
So
Good.
anything else that's happened to me during training camp, everything else is on the table. So I have committed no crimes.
Have you had crimes committed against you?
That's
Yes.
arguable.
See, now I'm intrigued. So you had my interest, and now you have my
Oh,
intrigueness.
this is a great. I mean, the story.
I am now intrigued.
The story of my 2026 training camp will make a great talk show story or radio show.
Well, then why don't we
story.
just bleep and do it now, pal?
We're just not ready. It's not all. Not everything's ready yet. I probably have already said too much.
You said nothing.
I've said
Well,
too
good.
much.
Then we've achieved our goal here. Just suffice to say that getting rear-ended at low speed twice by the same dude has been the highlight of training camp for me.
Oh, wow.
That's the best thing that's happened to me
That
so
puts it
far.
into perspective.
Yeah.
But you did have that s'mores dessert, though. Wouldn't that be the highlight?
Yeah, although that in and itself caused quite a bit of
That's a good point
consternation
because
and
it
Wait,
cost
why?
you it cost
How?
you the cookie brownie.
It cost me the cookie brownie. So
Yeah,
you've heard
that's
about
right.
the cookie brownie.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had
Okay.
this conversation last week because we had the deciding vote, and that's when, was it Pete Sweeney or Jesse Newell, whoever it was, that Todd said that you wasn't there when you guys were having your conversation, and Todd said he has actually voted against Matt. So the cookie brownie is what you were looking forward to, but you guys voted to change cookie brownie to the s'more, and the s'mores treat cost you the cookie brownie, and that's even turns out to be a negative too.
Why would anyone do that? Cookie brownie over s'mores all day. I'm not at a bonfire.
Because the s'mores was something they hadn't had before, right? And everybody swore by it and was like, "You have to try
Right,
this."
the s'mores treat was the s'mores, whatever you call it. I mean,
Yeah, s'more what?
it was something. It wasn't a s'mores.
How
but
can I
it
have
was,
some more if I haven't had any?
Exactly.
Killing me, Sterling. You're killing me, Stews.
But here's okay. This is once again. This comes back to why you need to get everything in writing.
Yep.
We had
That's true.
we had a vote on whether or not, because we have this little gentleman's agreement amongst myself, Jesse Newell, and Pete Sweeney, that we will refrain from the desserts provided, and this also became a bit of a sticky wicket during some discussions this week and everything. That
Why would
once
you
again,
refrain from
everything needs to be in
desserts?
I
writing
hate sticky wickets.
to try and keep care of our bodies and avoid the training camp 15, so we had to pledge not to eat any of the brownie or any of the desserts provided in the media workroom during training camp. Except there was an exception carved out for the cookie brownie, which is Jesse Newell's favorite. And so, we were all in agreement. The cookie brownie, generally the best dessert of training camp, so we'll exclude the cookie brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then everybody was raving about the s'mores last Friday.
Yeah.
It was like, you got to have this and everything.
Right.
So we took a vote.
Yeah, as you should.
And here's the thing, I think, is that, I mean, everybody voted for one, not everybody voted for it. It was 2-1 vote.
Yeah.
Myself and Jesse Newell, or no, I voted. What was it? Okay, I voted.
No, you guys all voted for it, but you thought that
Thank you.
you thought that the vote did not preclude then having
I
the
thought
cookie brownie.
my understanding was that it did not preclude the cookie
Yes,
brownie. So
right.
that was the thing.
It was not a
And-
switch.
And
It was a both.
Jesse and Pete both thought that it excluded it, and then I didn't understand why you would vote for the exception of the
The thing
s'mores.
you wanted, yeah.
if you also thought that it knocked out the cookie brand going
That's just
forward.
ridiculous.
Too much pork in this bill.
Yeah.
There's just too
I
much.
get it.
Right,
That's
right.
why you need to get everything in writing, so there's no
Yeah.
debate or anything of that nature.
By the way, I've never used the term sticky wicket, so I appreciate that.
It's a big
do you know
phrase
the
where I grew
origin?
up. I can't say
Sterling,
that
don't look
I
it up.
can't say
I'm looking
that
it
I
up.
Don't look it
do.
up. I said don't look it up.
Okay, I'm gonna say like the Ozarks.
I mean, the only wickets that I know are croquet wickets. So.
I bet Drake would know what the origin of sticky wicket, but he just ran to grab some lunch or something. I bet he would know the origin of sticky wicket.
oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I just said, well, you already said you didn't know, so that's fine. So we'll see. Drake, do you know the origin of sticky wicket?
The cricket thing?
It is cricket.
See, I will croquet, cricket. I
But
mean,
but
it's
you were
all the
wrong.
same
You
thing.
said croquet. It's not croquet. It's cricket.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds a little bit.
whatever.
It comes from the sport of cricket when it describes a wet or damp pitch that makes the ball bounce in an unpredictable way.
That
It's
would
a
be a
sticky wicket.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy throws. It's like when a pitcher just throws junk up there. It's like, oh, that pitcher is all about a sticky wicket. Hey, watch out for the sticky wicket.
Who won the early morning grinders?
Not him.
Was it you?
It
Was
was-
it?
Who was that rookie that was?
Well, we got 4 more days to go, so
That's a good point.
it's not over.
Oh, it's not over.
The battle lives
You only
on.
got three
Where-
more days.
where's
the
the-
military appreciation day doesn't count. You got 3 days left.
Where's the
well, you're right. It technically doesn't count.
the line at right now? Where are we at?
Here's the
Tally
sad thing.
board.
Here's the sad thing that once again, how badly my training camp has been going. I don't remember what the standings are. I have
Yes.
to go
Son of a-
through. I do
If he-
have
here's the thing, Sterling.
documentation.
If he was leading, he'd remember what the standings are.
Agreed.
I think that's a decent
Here-
indication.
Well, and here's the problem: is that once again, everything's the problem. Well, not everything. I can blame a lot of things in
Me.
this training camp on
Hi.
Jesse Newell.
He's the problem. It's Newell.
Because sometimes
Tea.
Jesse's taking it
Time.
into him to come apparently get there before me some days and everything.
So you're losing to Jesse.
So I'm not losing to Jesse. I believe I've overtaken
Wish
Jesse.
that I had
don't know if
Jesse's
I don't know
score.
where I stand versus Zelmar Vetter.
Yeah, Zelmar. That's the guy I was
And I
thinking
tell
of.
you what, I mean, Ethan Herkett yesterday bailed
gosh.
me out.
I mean,
because,
now I've heard the name Zelmar and Ethan Herkett for the first time in training camp, so
Because-
that's good.
for another one of these reasons, I was delayed yesterday. But once again, I don't think anybody wants to know why I was delayed yesterday.
Well, who knows?
We're going to chalk it up to doctors.
Why were you delayed
Well, nope,
yesterday?
let's get on, and then we'll get
Move
in,
on.
and then we'll get
Let's just say it was
into
a
some
doctor's
Chiefs,
appointment for now.
and we'll get into some Chiefs.
Man, I really am causing a lot of problems here.
It's all
correct.
good.
So for myself, I've said too much. I mean, if people come across from this and their conclusion is that I'm a spy, that's great. I can live with that. Let's just assume that yes,
Yes.
I'm a spy. I just won't tell you for whom.
Right, because this whole time they thought you were a pony. This whole time,
Don't even know what that means, but
person of no interest.
oh, there you go. Well, see, that's what a spy would do.
It means
would-
you're just
would present it with that.
inconspicuous, and they wouldn't even think of you as a spy.
Exactly.
So let's get into.
Yeah, let's.
Let's get into. Shall we? Let's get into Field of Dreams. Now,
That's gonna be awesome, by the way.
Yes, I'm there.
Bobby Witt in the Field of Dreams. He better be healthy.
August 12th. I've already taken the 11th, 12th, and 13th off. So there you go.
Has Lebo approved that yet? I mean,
You know what? I don't need approval. They're my vacation days.
So
they're
the
my
Chiefs,
personal
man.
days.
So the Chiefs
They're my personal
training
days.
training
okay?
camp and
I don't-
preseason.
Oh yeah, now you're the one wanting to keep it on track while you were the one trying to get to the bottom of the different. So
I once again blame myself.
no, you are fine. You are fine, sir. Do we expect, before we get into some of the things that I'm interested in what you want to see, and we'll get your thoughts on who's a good decision maker. Do you think we'll see many starters? We know we won't see Patrick Mahomes, but is it one of those to where who they think the starting or the ones on both sides of the ball will not play? Or will there be some starters or ones that they may mix and match that, no, we need to see this guy, we need to see that guy? What do you think the first couple of drives, that first quarter will look like tomorrow?
I mean, I certainly get the sense, especially as much as even though Andy Reid has said pretty much all three things this week that I mean, any
He's talked
possible
3 times and he
scenario,
said 3 different things.
as any possible scenario you could have, it's
That's so
like,
great.
well, hey, Patrick's not going to go, and but we'll see what happens, and then so maybe not as many starters will play as usual. I wouldn't say that, and so no, so then starters are going to play. Well, we'll see, and maybe not. Then Chris Jones comes out and is like, I don't want to play
Yes,
this game.
why would I play? Too risky.
And that's the thing, is just that for me, it comes down to I wouldn't play any starters in this game for the most part, because I don't even know if you need to see anything from most of your starters. And again, what are you going to learn from going up against somebody else's second team? I mean, even if it's the Rams, and in theory, their second team might be pretty good. Who knows? I just wouldn't want my established starters out there going up against a bunch of guys who are trying to prove something.
Yeah.
I don't need Creed Humphrey, tearing up his ankle or something because he's going up against the second-team defensive tackle that's trying to show off and prove how tough he is and everything.
I don't need. I also don't need Chris Jones going up against a second-team guard that's trying to cut.
Right.
Well, no, my job here is to cut on this guy, and I'm going to make sure I cut so I can
100%.
show that I'm doing it right. And he cuts, and then Chris Jones is leaving the game. Like his point. And was it? I think it was you that asked the question about, well, the Rams don't play their starters, and I'm like, you know what? That's
where Chris was like,
and that's a really
I
good
want to go
point.
against their starters.
But I hadn't even thought about that. Like, we're thinking of the reps, but it was a great point by you, Matt. And he said, why would I want to play against? I want to play against the starters. If I'm going to play, I want to play against the starters. So it's a great point of, we know specifically the Rams do not play their starters. So if there was ever a game to where Andy Reid would say, even if we played our ones, we're probably not going to get much out of this. No reason to do it in this game. But maybe week 2, week 3 of the preseason, when we go up against some teams that may play their starters at least for a drive or two, we can get more out of that getting ready for the Broncos.
And to that point again too, I mean, you're playing this team in the regular season.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's why this game has the potential to be like a 6-3 shootout. Because you talk about two teams that have no interest in showing the
6-3 Chiefs, so minus 2.5 is what you're doing here. You're taking the Chiefs minus the points.
I'm just going to say right now, my annual message to everyone:
Yep.
if you are betting on preseason football, I know you probably are as well, and everything. It's 1-800-BETS-OFF.
I've already placed 2.
I would say that when it comes to preseason
I
football,
bet the Giants to win outright because of Harbaugh,
That's
and then
what I
I
do.
bet the Chiefs minus 2.5 because
because of the same reasons I gave. So,
you both need Jesus. That's what I'm
but here's
saying.
the thing: Harbaugh and the
Yeah.
Ravens always win preseason games. He's going to really want to win first preseason with the Giants. So there you go. They are also 2.5-point underdogs at home. Okay, and the Chiefs, it's going to be what, heat index of like 105. You know who's been practicing in this weather, and you know who's been practicing in 70-degree weather? Okay, the Rams are going to be for the first time feeling that wet blanket on their face and not being able to breathe, while the Chiefs have been doing this every day in St. Joe. That means third and fourth quarter, Chiefs are going to have more stamina. Chiefs minus the points all day, baby. Come on.
Will they have more stamina, or will they be exhausted because it was 105 degrees like heat index on Thursday?
Nope.
They're like still exhausted.
Nope. Their body is more acclimated to this climate, and the Rams are going to come in here and find out what it's like to. They're going to find out what Ichiro was talking about. Okay, they're going to learn really quickly what Ichiro was meaning.
All you really let's be real here.
So that's what I'm
Only
saying.
thing-
I'm parlaying Giants outright as 2.5-point dogs, and Chiefs minus 2.5 at home. That's my play.
That's your play. Well,
I promise I'm not
mean,
putting any money
great- it's
whatsoever
great that-
on preseason football. I've got the over Brashard Smith 5.5 yards rushing.
I love it that people do actually. I know people bet on
know.
preseason football,
I
and
know.
I do appreciate that they are putting a lot of stock into the third teams that eventually decide all
right.
of these outcomes and everything.
That's right. I had Colts and Patriots as a tie last night. Nailed it. I told everybody that's going to be a tie, 13-13, and that's what it was.
There you go.
Killing it.
So after I derailed that one with my screed against betting on preseason football,
It's all good, man.
If you can find that on Kalshi, there you go.
Yes, you are darn right. Prediction market. Matt is not going to bet on preseason football. That's 100%.
Save
You're not
it
going
for
to
when
make
it
much.
counts.
You're not
Save
going to
it-
make much money on that one. Although that could be insider trading. The no is 100%, and then boom, you go and double your triple, quadruple, 10 times your money, because you then go and do that. I wouldn't do that because it's illegal, and they will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Not the
Anyone betting on preseason football should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Hey, man, let me
Man,
just try and have a
man.
little fun.
Because I'll tell you what, right now, I'm betting that the guy who rear-ended me this morning, he bets on preseason football.
Okay, dude, but like,
I bet he does too.
Do you think
He's like making live
I need
bets
an
on
extra
That's what he was
reason?
doing, actually.
and
He was
how many,
betting.
how many yards passing Chris Oladokin will have in the fourth quarter.
He was live betting cricket.
Dude, but I
In
have
India
to
right
figure
now.
out
that
how
sticky wicket got him.
that third and fourth quarter are gonna suck, dude. I need a reason to watch.
Yeah,
and
that you
an
need some
extra
juice.
reason to watch is I
Look
need
at his
a
hat.
little
His
juice.
hat says bring the
Bring
juice.
the juice, yes.
I
So
need
he
the
needs
juice.
the juice.
Speaks
needs
of
the
the
juice.
Let's think about the 5,000 people left in the stands watching that fourth quarter tomorrow in the 110-degree heat.
Hey, man, that's just like your opinion.
Look,
That's
hey,
exactly what's going to happen.
hey, we've all got some sort of juice. His hat says bring the juice. Matt's wearing the all juice team, and I got some V8 juice.
Now you're
Right
we're
here.
all full
We're-
of the juice.
You know what? We're bringing the juice, and on the other side, we'll see about. Look, I think Matt is questioning people's decision-making ability if they are betting on preseason football, and I think a lot of people are questioning Dan Orlovsky's decision-making ability on who thinks is
See,
the
I bet
best.
Drake May doesn't bet on preseason football.
Josh Allen doesn't either because he's a great decision maker. Some would say the best in the league. I shouldn't say some. One would say the best in the league. We'll talk about those rankings next.
Van Halen 3 right there.
There it is.
Son of a gun.
That's right.
I saw these guys in concert too.
That's extreme to do that, dude.
Yeah. The summer of '93, which for those of you who are old enough to remember,
I was 13.
the flood of the 500-year
Oh my
flood.
God! Yes, that's right. We had Mizzou basketball camp, so it was almost canceled because I-70. But when we traveled there to Columbia, the water was all the way up to I-70. It had been closed down for a little bit, but it
Yeah.
had receded enough
So
to
there's
where
two
we
lanes
could
that
go.
get through. Yeah.
Yep. I remember that because that's the only reason I really remember that is because traveling there, I'm like, it's going to be canceled. I finally get to go and do something cool like this, and it's like a sleepaway camp, right? You're there for like 4 or 5 days, and you're staying in the dorm, and just could not wait to go, and so looking forward to it. And then it's like, it's probably going to get canceled. But luckily, it had receded enough to where I-70 had opened up, and we were able to go. So, yeah, I do know. So, 93 Extreme.
It was like probably like July 8th, something like this in '93, and it was the one day it didn't rain. And
The one day it didn't rain.
one day it didn't rain, so Gary Sharon's sitting out there on like the edge of at Sandstone, which it was Sandstone then. I don't know what it is now, but it's still, I
Sandstone.
still call it Sandstone.
It still stands.
And he's like starts singing in the rain.
Yep.
Because he thought that was hilarious and
Oh,
everything.
okay. Yeah, I get it.
And I remember, I mean, they were opening for Bon Jovi, which is great, a lot of fun. It was like peak,
Yeah.
peak Bon Jovi at that point. And I remember they had 2 songs. Well, they had 3 songs, I guess, because they had and so they came out and they did More Than Words, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that's cool." And then they started going through the rest of the catalog, and nobody knew what the songs were and everything. So there was just a lot of murmuring and walking around
They
and
knew
everything.
one song.
And then they played Wholehearted, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool too," and everything. And then everybody went back to just talking and everything. And then they played a song that it's called something else on the album, but they never sing that song
Oh,
because if
was that Extreme?
it was Wholehearted.
Oh, Wholehearted.
And if you don't like,
I was thinking of the horse Hoofhearted.
if you don't like what you see here,
Mhm.
Get the Funk Out is the name of the song.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
I don't believe they ever sang the word funk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about the
Um,
song by Quincy Jones? Get the funk out of my face. Get the
So
funk.
my brother alerts me for you guys. Extreme is opening up for Motley Crue on September 8th at Morton.
I mean, talk about just full circle here.
Yeah. Extreme opening up for Motley
And I
Crue
assume
September.
Gary
Where
Sharon's
you
back with them.
where you going to be September 8th there, Sterling? In studio.
I will be.
Where are you going to be?
Well, it'd be really funny if
Yeah, probably here.
You'll be here September 9th. I know that.
It'd be really funny if Sammy Hagar was the lead singer of Extreme now.
Just keep rotating.
No, actually, eventually he finally returns to join a band, and it's Steve Perry. Like, hold on, you're not even going to get back to no
Oh,
Extreme.
I don't want to malign anybody, so I'm not going to single out anyone. But I mean, here's the thing: is that all of these classic '80s bands that I love and everything like that are all traveling and everything and going through tours, like 90% of them are at this point pretty much just tribute acts because none
Yeah.
of the original members are in them.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Leonard Skinner. I know it's like there's like, well, it's his brother. I'm like, yeah, but
It's kind of hard to have
that's
some of the.
still his brother's. He's been there a while. I get that, but
Yeah.
Foreigner, I don't think a single original member and
think there
Foreigner.
is.
No.
They're all foreigners.
No, they're actually
right?
now
Right, they're all
actually
foreigner
now
bands.
naturalized
They're all in
citizens.
their
I mean, it's
70s
crazy.
and 80s. Yeah, so
They're now
I
citizens. That's how
love
long it's
Foreigner.
been.
Like at least Iron Maiden, I get like Bruce Dickinson wasn't the original, but like he is. That's when Iron Maiden took off, and everyone I believe
Now
is
it's
on the
Iron
band besides
Veteran.
the drummer,
And there's
Nico
like-
McBrain.
Beach Boys are the same way. I mean, it's like
I don't
Brian,
get it.
Brian Wilson hasn't been in the Beach Boys in 40 years.
You're a
Didn't
cover
die.
band. You're a cover band. Like I don't get how Queensryche, for example, can say they're Queensryche. There's 2, one with the original singer, and then one with no, like Skid Row. You're not Skid Row without Sebastian Bach. Sebastian Bach was the draw.
So Dan Orlovsky
Am I wrong?
has
He's
a
not
number
wrong.
of traits. He put out 7 different traits for what makes a good lead singer
I
for a
like-
band
I
of
like
football
the fact
players.
that the 8th trait, the unpublished 8th trait,
Yeah.
was who is your agent?
The top 3 guys ended up being all CAA people with Dan Orlovsky because I put together. I gave them the point system, right?
Yeah.
1 through 10, and the only way I could do it fairly was that if you were unranked in a category, I just gave you an 11.
Sure.
And so when you add all those up, Now, Dan Orlovsky may argue and say not all of those categories are weighted equally, regardless, whatever. If you add all those up, the lowest score.
I don't think he had an algorithm and a formula for coming up with the best quarterback.
No, I don't think he did either. But if you add all those up, the lowest score is the one that would be the best, and that's Drake May.
Yeah.
And number 2 is Josh Allen. Number 3 is Matt Stafford. They're all CAA clients. That's the
What a coincidence.
The conspiracy that's going around out there. But look, people put their list together, and that's fine. We can talk about arm strength, and we can talk about ball placement, and you can talk about rushing ability and pocket awareness or whatever. But, man, it is really hard to look at a list of quarterbacks in the NFL and say, who are the best decision makers in the NFL? And to land on number 1 being Josh Allen, when the most recent game we have were some pretty awful decisions that he was making in the playoffs. And the year before that, the last game he played that season in the AFC Championship game, there were some bad decisions that he made, including, if we remember, he should have thrown 2 interceptions on the first drive of the game. It's impossible to do that, but he threw the ball that hits Brian Cook's hands because he overthrew the receiver. Then on third down, I think it was Dana. Somebody forced him in up, and Chris Jones was there, and he escaped running to his left, and then he threw it down the field, and Najee Johnson jumps, and the ball goes through his hands, and then falls into Brian Cook's hands, and then he drops it. It was like 2 out of 3 plays.
Yeah, because Brian Cook had 2 I think.
Yes.
I think you're right.
That was the first drive of the AFC Championship game. Both of those throws were bad decisions that he made. Like, those are the 2 most recent playoff games he has lost. His decision-making were big reasons why they were in that position. So it's not just a Patrick Mahomes thing, right, in some of these, but it's also a question mark of, like, why sort of the narrative around Josh Allen. It's like, I don't know that there's been a quarterback that we have seen that hasn't had success in the postseason that continues to get propped up. Phillip Rivers was made fun of because he couldn't come through in the postseason or late in games. But he put up numbers, and he was a leader, and he was one of the better quarterbacks. Josh Allen, same thing, doesn't come through in the postseason, yet is just given the benefit of the doubt, and that is washed away as if it's never been his fault. That anything bad has ever happened to the Bills has been because of the defense or McDermott or somebody else was the problem. And Josh Allen did everything he could to wear the cape and carry the team to even be close and in that game if it wasn't for Josh Allen. It's an interesting, odd, I don't know what to make of the narrative that's been there around Josh Allen, that there always seems to be just a desert of criticism that goes to him, and it's saved for every other quarterback.
Well, and I mean, and we're just going to bash Orlovsky for now, which I'm fine with doing because it's fun and easy too. I mean, when you think about the characteristics of a good quarterback, I mean, some of these traits that he goes into and everything, I mean, I'm not even sure if I would consider those traits that I think are key to a good quarterback. I mean, some of these things are either 1, they're just things you should be able to do, or 2, they're not that important. Whereas, you know, one of the things I think of most about a quarterback is composure.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, if he wants to say that's pocket presence, well, then no, they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the difference, that's maybe why you were Dan Orlovsky.
But he's willing to make the distinction between accuracy and ball placement, but not
between composure and
pocket presence.
And because pocket presence has nothing to do with there's 13 seconds on the clock and getting into field goal range.
Or you're down by 3 in the final drive of the Super Bowl and you get into field goal range. And then you're down by 3 in overtime and you go and score a touchdown.
And by the way, on a lot of these things, like Drake May is on almost all these lists, as you mentioned, in all these categories, yet he's done it for 1 year because C.J. Stroud would have been in it after a year, and same with Jordan Love, and same with Jaden Daniels. Like, there's a plethora of dudes. At some point, let it play out before you jump into this all of a sudden. No, he's the guy. He's the bleeping man.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a little funny to an extent. I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers guy necessarily, especially at this point in his career, but if you're going to put pocket presence, wouldn't he be like number one, a guy who's known for that? I don't. The
He's
whole thing.
always been able to slide around in the pocket and move up and gain depth.
Even at his age, he's been
Yes.
very good.
And now he has to do it even more at his
even more
age.
so.
Yeah.
I found the whole thing laughable. It felt like he did throw on a dartboard just random names, and then he threw offhanded and was lucky that he hit the board at all. And that's all right, Trevor Lawrence, here you go, pocket presence, known for that. And again, going back to Josh Allen, you guys all know, I'm a massive Josh Allen fan, but
I am
I've never
too.
seen a quarterback go from the reason your team lost in the playoffs to somehow everyone forgets about it, and it's a positive going into next year. Like they're all saying, well, it's a learning experience, or the team let him down. Like, what are we doing here? You lost to bleeping, was it Jarrett Stidham? Bo Nix?
Yeah.
Don't matter.
No, he lost to Bo Nix in that one. Jarrett Stidham lost to
They're
Drake
the
May.
same quarterback.
At 2021, when the Chiefs lost to the Bengals, and Mahomes had a dreadful second half, and then they traded Tyreek, people clowned Mahomes all offseason. Look how bad he was against the Bengals. Something happened. Interceptions, off-target throws, the decision he made on 3rd down and goal at the end of regulation to almost take them out of field goal range when he ran around and then dropped the ball and almost lost the game. Then he throws an interception in overtime. Just brutal. Mahomes is toast, and now they don't have Tyreek. He got clowned. Josh Allen, it's viewed as like if it was the ref's fault somehow that they didn't win that game. So I don't know. We can complain about Josh Allen and stuff like that, but it is that narrative that's out there, and it just feels like there's a lot of people carrying the weight or carrying the water for Josh Allen when if somebody defends Patrick Mahomes, it's viewed as, well, there's the Chiefs homers. Nobody can ever say anything negative about Mahomes. Like, there's some negatives about Patrick Mahomes, but there's so much out there already that you feel like maybe there should be some defense of how extreme it's gotten to that point. You know,
and
it takes more than words.
it does take more than words. And if you go back and, I mean, we didn't all imagine it. It wasn't a fever dream here in Kansas City where we all saw this. I mean, I know other people saw it too. They just seem to forget that there were plenty of jokes going around about the fact the final 3 games of the season was in retrospect, maybe Patrick Mahomes needs to be MVP of every season because, boy, that offense without him. And again, you know, what was Patrick Mahomes' biggest weakness last year? It was lack of a run game, and that wasn't even his problem. It wasn't his fault. I mean, if you gave that, I mean, once again, I always say it because I hate to be a total jerk, and I don't mean it to be. It's just the fact of where they are at their careers.
You come by it naturally.
You take that running back room last year that this Chiefs team had, and you put it on Seattle, you put it on the Rams, you put it in New England. None of those quarterbacks in those teams go 6-11. They go worse than that. I mean, that's if teams do, and that's just Andy Reid saying it. This is not me. If teams do not respect your running game, you're hosed. How this team was able to even get to it, once again, it's kind of like the manager in Bull Durham. How did this team ever win 6 games?
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, the Chiefs, without Patrick Mahomes in their last 4 games that they have played, without Patrick Mahomes, they have they've had 1 touchdown drive without Patrick Mahomes in the game, and that touchdown drive started at the plus 30-yard line.
I mean, and to me, here's the other. There's another thing that's a side note to this, and it's not about bashing Dan Orlovsky's list, but
Plus 35.
it is a bit about, you know, the Andy Reid detractors and everything. You know, Chris Oladokun and the Chiefs almost beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it wasn't Chris Oladokun almost beat the Broncos. It was Andy Reid almost beat the Broncos.
It's a tie game with 2 minutes to go.
And that was all Andy Reid. That was all Andy Reid trying to manage a game to see, and hey, Steve Spagnuolo too, but they tried to manage that game to just pull it out. And that, in and of itself, was a tribute to Andy Reid. Andy Reid still got it. I mean, I get it. You were upset that he didn't go out there and win with Chris Oladokun by putting up 54 points or anything. But sometimes you play the hand you're dealt, and Andy Reid was dealt a deuce and a 7 offsuit, and he almost pulled it off.
Yeah, they were tied with 2 minutes to go, and then Denver scored the touchdown with R.J. Harvey, and then they got to, I don't think they got to the red zone, but they got to like the 20 of the Broncos
And your third string quarterback made a bad read.
Yeah, yep, they got close, and it was it ended up being like second, third, and fourth down were like incomplete passes. But regardless, like that was again one scoring drive in the 4 games that they have played without Patrick Mahomes. That was a touchdown, and that started at the plus 35-yard line. They had to go 35 yards for that touchdown drive. I mean, yeah, I think there's something to, like, people say, oh, Mahomes, he hasn't looked like himself. Well, what he was doing with that same cast of characters that a backup quarterback, and I know Oladokin is like the 4th string guy this year, so that's how they view him. So that's how, talented he was, or lack thereof. But they got nothing from him. And Carson Wentz, because one of those games was Carson Wentz when they scored 0 points against the Denver Broncos. 0, 12, 9, and
It wasn't Carson. Are you talking about the year prior? That was Gardner.
No, Carson against the Broncos when they lost 30-0.
Was that Carson?
That was Wentz.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
I can't
Gardner
keep track
was,
anymore.
Gardner was last
Yeah,
year.
Gardner was last year. I can't remember if that was Carson or not.
Well,
Yeah,
was that Gabbert?
I think you're right.
Yeah, it was Carson Wentz that came in against the Denver Broncos in that game, and
I can't keep track of the order anymore.
they lost 30-0, I think it was.
I've been in too many car wrecks. I can't remember anymore.
No,
Today alone.
I don't doubt you. You're right.
I completely and totally doubt.
Yeah,
both of them.
38-0 is what it was. And it was Carson Wentz was 10 of 17 for 98 yards.
Wow, you nailed it. Yeah.
And they got 0 points in that game. And then they had 3 games this last year without Patrick Mahomes. That's 4 games, the last 4 games without Patrick Mahomes, that they have had 1 drive that was a touchdown. They scored 0.
That'll make you wince.
Yeah, 0. 0, 9,
guys are
13,
on
and 12.
fire.
0 points, 9 points, 13 points, and 12 points in the 4
Best day
games
of training
without Mahomes.
camp for me, hanging out with you two
See,
guys.
there you go. Are you good for one more segment?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, we'll take a timeout.
The Chiefs need to have a Gardner so they can grow the offense.
Go get in your car, son, and please leave. It's Carson. Right? We good?
I can't think of a Gabbert.
You two are outstanding in your fields.
Oh, my gosh.
I think we need some more of these.
I'm just gushing over you guys right now. Todd, get out. Todd, get out. Sterling, get in.
Lebo's full.
Todd out. Sterling in. It's a tag out. It's a tag team.
Back again.
Second directed. Let's begin. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the mic. Hanging out with us. All right, Matt, let's get into this game tomorrow. And what you may be looking for, watching for, maybe more than something else. But what are some things that you'll be paying close attention to as the Chiefs will be taking on the Rams tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, this one is a weird one for me because, again, I'm not expecting to see a lot of starters. But this is kind of just me in general. I'm going to be watching special teams more than anything else because that's the one thing that if you watch it, it's going to tell you a lot about the roster building. You know, who's playing special teams at the beginning of the game is going to tell you who's your final 5-7 guys on the roster, all of that. I mean, if you want some sleepers, look to see if there's anybody that can threaten Nico Remigio as a punt and a kick return specialist.
That's what I said. That was one of my big watch points.
Because Brashard Smith is making this team. Nico right now is making this team unless someone dislodges him. And there's some sleeper candidates out there. So if Jacob DeJesus has a return, he would be a candidate. I mean, they've talked about at times about Cyrus Allen. I'd almost be surprised if Cyrus Allen with the shin bruise still played tomorrow. It's possible, but because he looks like he's fine. But I'd still probably sit him out, and I don't know I'd necessarily put him on special teams right now and expose him to an injury or worsening things. But and I don't think that they're going to seriously consider it because the dude's going to play too much offense for them to really put him in as a returner.
What about Royals? I know that might be a kind of a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I don't think I've seen him even make a return during training camp. Not really on the list. There's some others, that some of the backup running backs, even Emmett Johnson might, end up being in that. The tough thing there is that again, Kenneth Walker's going to be active, Marty DeMercado, and Brashard Smith because he is already one of your returners.
Yeah.
Can you have 4 running backs active on game day?
No.
I think you can.
They never do it, though.
I think you can if you have 5 wide receivers. But if you don't have Nico, then I think, yes, you could.
I mean, that would be the way to do it.
Correct.
I'd have to go back and look, but it's probably been years since they've had 4 running backs active.
I don't argue that, but I would also point out they have before, if you would count 4 backs when they would have a fullback, that'd be different. They would have had 4 then in that instance. And I'll also point out yet again, you would have 5 wide receivers because Nico, to an extent, would only be he's your 6th game day active wide receiver. So then you'd have 5 game day active wide receivers, 4 running backs. But in the sense, it's the same thing because one is strictly a return man.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know that they look at it and want to have 4 running backs active. Maybe if they're going to run the ball a little bit more, they might have 4 running backs active. We'll see. But let's play this clip from Tyrann Mathieu. It's clip number 2. And you mentioned, Cyrus, whether he plays or not. Tyrann was up at camp for a few days and on his podcast weighs in. He was asked by the guy that's the host of the podcast in the Bayou. He was asked about different players that stood out. And this is one of the guys he talked about.
One of our homegrown kids, Cyrus Allen, I mean, he's just taking it by storm, bro. Like Pat loves him. Coaches love him.
That's crazy. Pat loves him.
He's
on that field.
And he was banged up a little bit. He had I think it was like a shin bruise or something like that.
Yeah.
So he didn't really practice while I was there. But me and him had a bunch of conversations. Like, and he asked all the right questions too, especially as a youngster, man. Like, how do I stay in this league? Like, what do I do? Like, what was your routine? Right? Like, how often you go back home?
So there's Tyrann Mathieu. Didn't really get to see him play much because of the shin bruise, but he knows that Patrick already trusts him, and inquiring about the different things for Tyrann Mathieu, and probably that connection with both guys being from Louisiana, and a homegrown kid just like Tyrann Mathieu, and talking about those things. But how do you stay in the league? What was your routine to do different things like that? But didn't get to see him play, but still heard about him with everybody talking about Cyrus Allen. He's the name that comes to mind, but I was going to ask you this question anyway, whether we played the clip from Cyrus Allen or not. including or not including, whatever. Simple question. Who do the Chiefs have that can beat man coverage? And I don't mean like line of scrimmage, trying to get a jam at the line of scrimmage and misses, and then you go by him and run down the field and it was man-to-man. I mean, it's man coverage. You're going up against the cornerback. You're running your route, and you win. Who do they have that can actually do that on this team?
And it varies a little bit to me based on the routes themselves, because I mean, hey, if it's a 9 route, you're just running down the field as fast as you can. I mean, nobody can keep up with Tyquan Thornton. Yeah. I mean, he's your best deep ball receiver. He's a lot better at Worthy. But
I want to move that to the side of like, okay,
excluding that.
Yeah, like you were running a route, you're going up against man coverage, you've got to find a way to get open, and it's not just you're running 9 on the red line and Mahomes throws it deep to you.
I mean, I right now, I mean, I think there's only 2 that I would say I put into that category. It's Worthy and Allen. And I give Worthy, I think, a lot more edge in that because I'm not leaning as much on last year.
Okay.
Because, again, I think you can take a lot of last year's film for Worthy and just throw it out because it was totally irrelevant. He was guarding that arm the entire season and just wasn't himself. There's still moments. I mean, you can go back and you can find some highlights, and it's like he's just lined up one-on-one with a guy, and he was using his agility to psych a guy out and break one way, break the other, and then he's wide open. I mean, Worthy can do that. I just don't think he did it consistently enough last year because I think that arm and that shoulder was killing him too much. So, I mean, even little moves like that, even just like changing direction caused that shoulder to hurt. So, I mean, that's understandable. So I think I go back a little bit more to his rookie year, and you look at his college film. I mean, he can do that, and I've seen him do it more up in camp. Allen can do it, and both these guys do it in different ways, because Worthy can just do it with pure athleticism. Allen has to do it with kind of smarts and guile, because he just does it because he knows all of the little things so much. I mean, to Tyron's point, when you're talking about a receiver picking up the NFL and everything, with wide receivers, usually the questions they're asking is like, well, where do I line up on this play? What's my route? These little things. Cyrus Allen's going to be like, okay, well, what's it mean when, what do I do when the coverage shows this? Where should I step if the corner I'm lined up against is play me this way or that way? I mean, he's asking questions that usually you guys don't ask until like their second or third years, if they even get to the point where they're asking these questions.
Well, and sorry, Sterling,
you're good.
Real quick on the beating man coverage, because Worthy, it's interesting you bring up can win with athleticism. It seems like when everybody talks about Cyrus Allen, like his ability to run routes, and it's not just he can run 12 yards and then break it out, and it's such a good route. We talked about it, and it was during the postseason and tweeted about it and everything. It was Devontae Adams that was just running an out route, and it was like a 12-yard out, and he gets to about 10 yards, and he starts to cut left, show the leg, stutters, and then cuts hard right, and the cornerback bites, and then boom, out route. And he was like 10 yards open, where how many other receivers are running down, maybe faking right, and then going left? But he showed that, no, I'm faking left because I'm going right. Gotcha. Now I'm going back, and it's an out route. Like, that's running a route. That's running a route because you are getting open. It's not just a line on a piece of paper. And I am not saying Cyrus is this guy. Kelsey is not the most swift of foot and athletic. But the hip movement, the shoulders.
Swift of foot. Oh, my God.
I did not do that on purpose, I swear. I didn't. But
it felt like it was on purpose.
But he finds the blank space in the defense. He
is a 22-yard gain.
There you go. He's able to just manipulate the defender's hips and shoulders different ways by small little steps here or there. Not watching out at camp because I'm not there. What I take from that is it seems like when people talk about Cyrus Allen, that's what they talk about when running a route, is that those little small intricacies to throw a defender off a certain way while you're going to get to the end point anyway. It's just how do you get there without the guy right on your back?
Yeah, and I mean, and that's a little, once again, kind of goes back to the difference between Worthy and Allen to me, is that Worthy is more likely to probably elude man coverage by deking out his guy and putting him on the ground, like you said. I mean, just because he's able to change direction so quickly. He's, his feet moving away that maybe corners aren't going to expect. He knows where they're going. They don't. And that's how maybe he's going to get open. Allen's going to get open in different ways. And, one of them is just that, like I said, he's not the fastest guy, but he knows how to run around. And it's not that it's not that he's running the right precisely. It's that he knows how to corner and maintain his speed through. I mean, once again,
Well, that's an interesting point, too.
Tyreek will tell you that he didn't really understand how to do that until like year 3. But Allen can do that now, where he can maintain his speed through a cut and through a run and through a change in direction. And he's also just really good at being what Andy Reid said that Rashee Rice was doing there for a couple of weeks, of being quarterback friendly, being Patrick friendly, and that can be a couple of different things. And one of them is the aspect of you continue to work, to get open, and that's one thing that Allen is really, really good at. I mean, this dude he's Chris Conley like, in that he will run until the play is done. If he's not open, he's going to find a way to get open. But the other thing too is that, and this is one of the things that Chad O'Shea stresses, and that he has really been good at, which is just presenting yourself to the quarterback. You run your route, but then you make sure that the quarterback can see your hands, know where you are, all these things, and knows where to throw the ball to throw you open. I mean, so that's why, you look at it a lot of times, and sometimes Allen doesn't look open, maybe going into the break, but then when you see him come out of it, he's all of a sudden got 3 yards on the guy.
And that's where I think that his value, and this is where the Chiefs really need a guy like this, is that second play, as you were alluding to. That second play that felt like it's been missing for a couple of years now. Rice, it looked like early on in his career, might be that guy. And then we talked about the plays off, the ball's not going to me, the maybe loafing around, and we haven't seen Worthy really do a whole bunch of the second play aspects.
The only one I remember was in Dallas. And that's it, when Mahomes almost got sacked and he skipped away and then found Worthy wide open down the field.
But it feels like
remember.
Allen could be that option for KC and for Patrick, that second play. Worthy, I keep going back to, I'm buying some stock in on him. I was not thrilled about the draft pick necessarily. I thought that there were some other guys on the board. You guys know my thoughts on Cooper DeJean. Yeah. I had thoughts about Ladd McConkey. Those are the kind of the two guys I was really looking at, but I think everyone's gone too far the other way now with Worthy. I do think that he is a really good intermediate man beater. I think he can do that. I think he can do what they wanted Hollywood to do last year, but Hollywood I don't think was good enough. I don't think he was, and I think that they valued and tried to put Worthy, because he's fast, in that Justin Watson or MVS role. That's not really who I think Worthy is, especially with the shoulder. I was like, no chance that makes any sense. I think Tyquan fits that role, and I think Worthy fits that Hollywood role. I think they have the pieces. They were just miscast last year. I'm not saying I know more than Andy Reid.
But
that is a dumb situation.
Might have been miscast because of the shoulder,
and
or
it could have
miscast for different reasons.
It could be a lot of
not
reasons.
Being there, who knows?
Yeah, and
you agree, Matt, with Sterling?
I do agree with Sterling, and
all right, mark it.
all these receivers have different traits, about what they're best at and everything. And watching camp, one of the things that stands out to me, for instance, in the way that they're trying to get guys the ball, Rice is a big, strong runner. So most of Rice's rear yards, when he's going to get them, are going to come after the catch. He is really good at getting the ball. And then if he makes that first guy miss or runs through him, he's gone. He gets ahead of steam. Good luck bringing Rashee Rice down, because he's just a big, strong runner. He runs like a running back that he used to be before he converted to a receiver. That's his strength. Worthy, you can tell. They want to try and get the ball to him in space. That's the thing. Get the ball to him out on the edges and let him just try and beat people that way. He didn't do that very well at that last year, once again, because of the shoulder, because if he had contact, and again, they didn't throw him a lot of those routes last year. I've probably seen him get more of those balls this year in camp than all of last season combined. And, it can be bubble screens. It can just be, quick outs. There's a lot of different ways that, they're just trying to get him the ball out on the edges. And again, he's one of those guys, they feel like you get the ball to him in space, he can do something. Allen is the guy that, he can get you, it feels like 8 to 12 yards whenever you want it. You can line him up anywhere. He's going to get open. You can throw him the ball. He might not get any yak, but, he's probably going to catch it if he gets his hands on it.
it's interesting seeing, like, you know, it's fantasy football season, so everybody's starting to prepare for that. Maybe you've already had your draft, maybe it's coming up. To see different fantasy football sites and analysts outside of the area talking about Cyrus Allen. It's like, all right, let's weigh in on the Cyrus Allen. Hey, I think the Cyrus Allen hype is real, and it's not just everybody here that's hoping. You know, like, fingers crossed, maybe they found a diamond in the rough, and who knows? He may be bad. He may just be a generic wide receiver when he gets out there. We'll find out. I want a couple more on the wide receiver quickly on these quick little points, and I want to move on to something else that Tyrann Mathieu said that I want to play in connection with something Steve Spagnuolo said earlier this week. Is there added excitement and maybe more evidence of trust when we keep seeing back shoulder throws on Noel Williams to Cyrus Allen from Mahomes? Like, a couple of those, like, I've seen like 3 or 4 already Cyrus Allen clips that are Allen running down the field, Noel Williams is on him, and it's a back shoulder throw that he's running, and it's like a veteran receiver. He stops and reaches back at the last second. He's not showing the hands. He's not showing his head turn around. He's running, and then when it's too late for the corner to be able to stop with him, he stops, catches it, and it's a back shoulder. Does that, you know, is that just because I've seen some of those and it's just the couple of videos out there, or is that more evidence of the trust of Mahomes and Cyrus Allen, that not only are they on the same page, they're on the same page with back shoulder throws, which are tough to do?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's I honestly I think that's true about Worthy as well.
Okay,
because he's had a few of those, and
I haven't seen those clips. That's why you're out there watching.
They don't always put the clips out there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything is Cyrus Allen right now. You know,
and that's the other thing too, is I've been noticing it. And I've been watching it, I guess, more because I've been trying to see what the Chiefs do, and I guess I just never noticed it before, but. And maybe they've changed it, but they don't put very many 11-on-11 clips out.
Yeah.
You know, so many things that they put out there are just 7-on-7.
The only clips I see are those that are in the stands and fans, and I'm trying to consume as much as I can. But typically that's not going to be, here's Mahomes with a throw to Xavier Worthy. It's all been about, here's Mahomes and here's this great catch by Cyrus Allen.
And
I'm
going to be a little bit influenced by the fact that they threw one of these during OTAs. And this would have been Justin Fields on the field for it, but it was the exact same thing. I mean, with Worthy, and Worthy had this back shoulder catch like right in front of us, but did all the right things. Yeah. Everything you're saying right now, it was like, dang, it was a good throw by Fields, but 2, it was a great catch from Worthy. I think Mahomes has got that confidence with Worthy as well, but again, you know, the fact that he's developed so much trust with Allen so quickly is really impressive.
So I wanted to ask you about that. I brought this up in the first hour, and it was something that I specifically wrote down that I wanted to ask you because it went into my, top 5 of things that I was looking forward to seeing. And I think it would have been easy just to be like, okay, Cyrus Allen, I want to see Cyrus Allen. I put Jalen Royals that I want to see above Cyrus Allen. And not because I'm like, well, I don't even know if he'll play tomorrow. But the reason I want to see Jalen Royals above Cyrus Allen is I've seen so many Allen clips. And there's so many people talking about him. It seems counterintuitive that you'd be like, well, yeah, but now I want to see him in a game. The reason I put Royals over Cyrus Allen is I made the comparison to the Royals, no pun intended, I promise, in that early in the season, Isbell was on fire. And it wrote the narrative that, hey, Isbell's different. Isaac Collins sucked early in the season. And it wrote the narrative, Collins, massive disappointment. Well, now they're totally different. Isbell's back to being the back of his baseball card, and Isaac Collins is closer to being the guy that he was in Milwaukee. But the Royals have sucked, so people aren't really paying attention all that much, and the narrative has already been written. I bring that up in comparison to Jalen because it felt like before the pads came on, Matt, the only thing we heard about Jalen Royals was drop the ball, not on the same page, being talked to by Mahomes, being pulled aside by Chad O'Shea, Andy Reid's having a Jalen Royals conversation with him. And then, Matt, what I had heard from different people is, you know what? Since the pads have come on, Jalen Royals has actually looked pretty good. But the narrative feels like it's already been written. He didn't play last year. Even when guys got injured, he couldn't get on the field. And then everybody's consuming, Matt, at the beginning of training camp. I want all the information. What are you seeing? And we hear about Jalen Royals struggling. But then the days go together and you're maybe not consuming everybody's takeaway. And so maybe you're not seeing days that he's been good. So I wanted to get your assessment specifically of Jalen Royals. Has it been that narrative that he's just not had a good camp? Or is he the exact opposite, that he did struggle early, but he's actually been pretty good once the pads came on?
I mean, I think everybody, forgets a little bit about just where Jalen Royals came from. And, what he was a 4th-round pick, right? I think it was one of the 4th rounders that they love taking their chances on.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, this is the dude that was playing at Military Institute in Georgia and drove to a tryout cross country in Utah State
yeah.
for a tryout. He was just like, hey, Utah State's having open tryouts for players and everything. He heard about it, drove out from Georgia to Utah to try out for the team and made it. I don't even know what conference Utah State plays in. I mean, I assume I could play him on College Football 27, but I don't remember for sure. It's a small college.
Yeah.
So he comes in, not super, doesn't have a long history in football, so he's still relatively new to the game. Definitely relatively new to this level of competition, because that's not what.
They're one of the longstanding traditional Pac-12 teams.
I was going to say, are they in the Pac-12 now?
As of July 1st, they're a Pac-12 team.
How could I forget? They've been in the Pac-12. Well, see, that's why I couldn't remember what conference they're in. It's not even the same conference as last year.
From the Mountain West to the Pac-12. But anyway, go ahead. Keep rolling.
Not even the Mountain West anymore. So, you're not talking about, everything was a step up for this guy.
Yeah.
So even barring the knee tendonitis that he had last year that kept him out of the early part of the season, it was always going to be a redshirt training year. And I think that knee just made it even worse. So it made it definitely just a total redshirt year for him. Yeah, he's more experienced, but I can't say, to me, Jalen Royals, Nico Remigio, Andrew Armstrong, they are all 3 variants of number 5 wide receiver.
Okay.
One's a return specialist. One's a 6-foot, athlete that can do a lot of things and he has a lot of upside. And one's 6'4" and a big body that you can throw the ball to, but and it's played in the SEC, so he's seen some things. I mean, they're all, like I said, they're just different variants of a number 5 wide receiver. I wouldn't say any one of them. I mean, Cyrus Allen has separated himself from Jalen Royals. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I just didn't know if, like, on a day-to-day, early on, Royals got just pushed aside because the Cyrus Allen love was going on. I didn't know what the day-to-day camp has been like, because honestly, I haven't heard much about him, which is why he is listed for me ahead of Cyrus Allen of what I want to see tomorrow, because I just haven't seen much of him because I'm not up there watching.
And I would say he's been good. I mean, has he flashed to the point where I would say, hey, this guy's, challenging for top 4? No, he's not threatening that or anything. Is he definitely making this team? Sure, because I think the Chiefs have seen enough.
Yeah.
They're not going to give up on a 4th-round pick in year 2. I mean, especially one that hasn't failed, per se. He hasn't failed. Hasn't really been given much of an opportunity. So I think they still want to keep that. And then you get into, if you're going to keep one for a returner, maybe that's how Nico makes the team. If you don't need Nico, well, suddenly now maybe Andrew Armstrong makes the team.
Yeah. Can we have 10 more minutes with you?
Of course.
Because we got to take a break. I want to get into it'll be something that Tyrann Mathieu said that I want to then add into what Steve Spagnuolo said earlier this week. So we'll do a break, a quick one more segment with Matt Derrick, and then Mick Schaefer will come in and arm wrestle him to see who will be the last segment of the hour. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. One more segment with Matt Derrick. Did want to pass along some rough news that the confirmation came out a couple of hours ago, and that is Blue Valley North's Graham Mertz for the Texans last night did suffer a torn ACL.
Damn, that sucks.
So he is, man, for a guy who's been a Division I guy for a number of years with Wisconsin and Florida, and now in the NFL for a couple of years, the amount of injuries he has fought through to still be going and playing and wearing an NFL uniform is, you're overcoming some adversity, not the adversity that Rashee Rice is having to overcome. That's self-inflicted. You are battling injury after injury. He broke his collarbone against Missouri. He tried to lower the shoulder after picking up the first down and running, and then he got up and celebrated first down, but then it was like, okay, that's it. He, collarbone out. And it's like, dang it, man. Just want him to stay healthy. But unfortunately, he did tear his ACL last night. That came out a couple of hours ago that they did confirm torn ACL for Graham Mertz. Let's play this Tyrann Mathieu clip. This is one of the things he was talking about. So he went in the first probably 45 minutes of his hour-and-a-half podcast is all about his visit to training camp. So it's worth listening to. It's really interesting. He talked about meeting with Clark Hunt, what his relationship is like with Clark Hunt. Andy Reid, what it was like at training camp first time versus now, the coaching side, if it's something Tyrann Mathieu would want to do because of the influence of being around those guys. It was a really interesting listen to the podcast. But then his host got into and said, okay, well, who impressed you while you were there? And I'm like, thank you. Let's go. Let's get into the stuff that I want to play on the air. And he mentioned a number of people. And then the last one that he mentioned was this. And this is clip number 5, Drake. He talks about Kenneth Walker. But I love in what he says towards the end when he's talking about Kenneth Walker. Here's Tyrann Mathieu. The last person he talks about that impressed him at training camp is K9.
I think Kenneth Walker is going to help out tremendously, bro. Like, he is a bell cow. He is a running back.
Real running back.
And I don't really think Pat has had them. Like, he had a few of them, Damian Williams, and guys like that. But, I mean, he,
so you saying
he's everything that they need for that offense.
What you saying about
Trey Reed has got to call a running play. Every play is not a pass. Just give him the ball, bro.
Just give him the ball, bro. Give him the ball. Let's play clip number 6 here. This is Steve Spagnuolo, and it's a small little blurb this whole clip is 30 seconds, but there's a small blurb in the middle of it. He's weighing in on the question was, what do you want to see from your defense in the game on Saturday against the Rams? That's the question. But in the middle here is yet another Easter egg of what we may see from the Chiefs when they open up the season against the Denver Broncos. Let's take a listen to Steve Spagnuolo asked about what he looks for in the game against the Rams, but a middle part of a little blurb about the offense.
Always the first one is tackling, and that probably is preceded by what we call block destruction and getting off the blocks. And quite frankly, not so much today, I'd have to watch the film, but yesterday, I didn't like the fact that a lot of run plays, and we're getting a lot more run plays than we used to. A lot of those run plays were going right down the middle of our defense. Now, we're not tackling, and it's not live, but I would like to see us be a little bit more physical. So I'm looking for the physicality, the tacking, the block destruction. Those would be the most important things.
And we're getting a lot more run plays than we used to.
Yeah.
It's a small little thing in there when he's talking about block destruction. And, hey, we didn't have a good day yesterday in the running plays. And we're getting a lot more running plays than we used to. But block destruction and getting – so, and then he goes right into what he wants to see. But it's a small little, again, Easter egg. Brett Veach. Clark Hunt has mentioned it. Eric Bieniemy, different people. Travis Kelce saying, I knew that Andy would make adjustments. Like, we've seen so many people offer little bits and pieces of what may be a different sort of scheme or plays that they call inside of the scheme. And Tyrann Mathieu of just give him the ball, man. He is a bell cow. Just give him the ball. And Steve Spagnuolo saying, we're getting a lot more run plays than we used to in camp.
Yeah, I haven't run the numbers myself and gone back and looked at old notes from past seasons and everything like that, going through the 11-on-11 periods. But it feels like it. It really does. Even watching the 9-on-7s are different this year than in the past. I mean, 9-on-7 is a specific run drill. You know that the offense is running the ball. But even those look different this year, not entirely just the backfield itself. I mean, even though the backfield is completely revamped, but that offensive line is good too, and you just get them doing what they're good at. And it's not even just it's not even the run game too. I mean, I don't remember the last time that we have seen this many screens in a Chiefs training camp. I mean, I know because there used to be like screen day at training camp where they would just run nothing but screens,
right,
and working on them and everything. And now, and even then, I mean, they would still sprinkle in screens the rest of the time. But this, I joke about it in my head and everything, but I keep saying to myself, gosh, there's the times this offense looks a lot like the 2007 Missouri Tigers.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's just screen all day long. It's tunnel screen here, it's tight end screen there, it's a wide bubble screen there, it's a running back screen, and then it's just, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Kingsley running downfield popping people. And
well, I mean, but here's the thing: it makes sense to me, and maybe it's because of the personnel, maybe not. Maybe it's I think it's a combination of personnel and Patrick. It makes sense to me of, okay, you're running the ball a little bit more. Like we've talked about taking pressure off Patrick Mahomes. How much Kenneth Walker will help Patrick Mahomes in the offense overall? Well, I think that's a screen game too. Remember the game against the 49ers a couple of years ago when Nick Bosa's head was on a swivel and he was just spinning. He had no idea. He couldn't get off the ball and rush because, I beat him. Nope, it's a screen.
He was pissed. I remember that.
Yes.
He was so frustrated.
All right, I'm here, and the guy's already running past me on a reverse. Okay, well, now I've got to stay home. Okay, now it's just a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, and now I can't get around him because I'm expecting something else. They game planned the hell out of Nick Bosa in that game. To me, it's like the running, some RPOs with the run, the under center, some play action, and then the screen game. To me, all designed to, let's make sure we don't have defensive ends that are just flying off the ball going after Patrick while he's recovering still from this knee injury. Let's keep them all off balance. And you want to get past the offensive line quickly? That's cool. It's a screenplay. You want to come in and rush on the outside around the edge? That's cool. It's a handoff to Kenneth Walker. You didn't set the edge, and now he's off running for 20 yards. Maybe you should worry about setting the edge, and maybe you should worry about doing other things rather than just it's first, second, third down. All we're doing is worrying about Patrick Mahomes.
And I don't think, here's going to be the tough thing about evaluating anything on Saturday. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see anything tricky. Right. You're not going to see anything new. I mean, Andy may just be bringing out plays from like the 2005 Eagles season to run tomorrow. I mean,
he's actually going to play Brian Westbrook. It's odd.
I mean, I've never weard Andy say, we're going to go pure vanilla this week, and yet he said that on like Monday.
Yeah, he did say that. We're going to go vanilla. This team, it's not just preseason. You play this team in the regular
season, and
I wonder how mad Andy was that Spags said that. He's probably, Spags, stop saying that. No, we're going to pass even more.
Hey, Andy, remember, Reed said one day, we're just going to run the ball all the time. Yeah, every play, run.
Hey, are they doing under center runs more this year?
But you said something that I think is also an Easter egg, which is really, really key to the whole thing. Because you mentioned about
an Easter egg.
Nice.
Unknowingly, I think you made an Easter egg here.
I like that.
You mentioned making Mahomes comfortable. Mm-hmm. And one thing I've seen, and you also talk about going under center, and I will say, here's the thing about Andy Reid: he doesn't do anything for no purpose.
Yeah,
he wants there to be a reason. So I know a lot of Chiefs fans, we're saying, the Chiefs need to go under center more because it looks good, works, all these things. Andy Reid's not going to go under center just for the sake of going under center. He's going to do it because it's part of a plan and a purpose. So there's going to be times, hey, are they going to run the ball from under center? Sure. Are they going to throw the ball? Yeah, sure. They're going to do everything. But I feel like I've seen more in training camp this year than in any Chiefs training camp or any Chiefs game, for instance, of getting Mahomes out of the pocket by design. There have been more like quarterback sprints to the side and everything off with throws. There's a few options in there too that have been, and Mahomes. I will say this: I don't know if they're really good at run some of the options because I think there have been a few times that Mahomes has ran the ball on an option and it was not designed. It was like there was like a double option, and the guy with the second option didn't show up.
Oh, I see. Yeah. so-
Like it was supposed to be somebody, either the running back was supposed to stay in, or there was supposed to be a wide receiver on a sweep or something.
Yeah, you better show up.
And Mahomes is like looking to get rid of the ball. And he's like, "There's nobody here," and then he just has to take off running.
yeah.
But no, I mean, get Mahomes out on a little rollout sprint, and then the ball pops out. I mean, those plays are open. I mean, and again, I think that's part of, Mahomes, is comfortable outside the pocket. Well,
Yeah.
you don't want him scrambling that
Yeah,
much
to get
outside the
there.
pocket to get there. So what if you just design it? And, I mean, and some of this, isn't necessarily even like a moving pocket or anything like that. It's just about stuff designed to get Mahomes out on the edge and get rid of the football. And I mean, again, I think he looks more comfortable on those throws than throwing from under center. That's where I still think that he looks the least comfortable.
Well, and that's been the issue, I think, for a long time. We can clamor for more under center, but let's be real, he's probably not done a lot of that in his career. In high school, I doubt he did it. College at Tech,
no.
we know he didn't do it.
No.
We know for a fact he hasn't really done it much in the NFL. So it's easy to say, get under center, it's better for the run game. Well, we also know, okay, well, what's better for the pass game? Probably not Patrick under center, at least from what we have seen so far in his career.
Yeah, that's why I think that they're going to try and find some ways to make him more comfortable under center and do some things. But yeah, I mean, and remember the drops are different too for him. I mean, if he's got like a 9-step drop coming out from under center, I mean that's different than the drops that he's got in the shotgun. And it's a rote thing. I mean, the more times he does it, the more comfortable it will get. I thought that during camp early, I thought under center he looked a little rushed and was delivering the ball a little high.
How about
I think
pistol?
that's improved.
Let's just
go pistol.
Let's go in the middle. Not shotgun.
Alex Smith.
Yes.
Chris Alt kind of pistol nut stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Matt, I appreciate you hanging out with us a little bit longer, man.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you for not bumping me from behind during this conversation. Oh man, I just marked myself.
Hey, by the way, was Pacheco behind you? Was that why you're getting bumped from behind?
Twice.
Dang it, that guy, he did look familiar. I didn't realize that was Isaiah Pacheco.
That was the joke. It was there the whole time. It was there the whole time that he got rear-ended twice in his car, and it must have been Pacheco just running. Ah, darn it. Thank you, Matt. You're the man. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. Speaking of 41, we'll hang out with Mick Schaefer coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, heading up until 2 o'clock, handing it over to the program with Todd Lebo today. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's just how I felt like saying it. I'd never seen a blue duck, so I colored the duck blue because I wanted to see a blue duck. We got the cuts before the show is over as well. Thank you to Matt Derrick hanging out with us, breaking down what the Chiefs, what we've seen the last couple of weeks in training camp, and maybe what to see from the Chiefs coming up tomorrow. There was news that we had earlier in the show, which is pretty exciting. And that news is the fact that the Kansas City Royals, Major League Baseball, and Universal Pictures announced today that Major League Baseball is going to return to Field of Dreams next season, and the Kansas City Royals will host the Boston Red Sox in Dyersville, Iowa, on Thursday, August 12th, 2027, and I've already put in dibs for Personal Day, the 11th, 12th, and 13th. So, Sterling, go ahead and knock it out for the that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's a Darcy day. I'm in
I
Iowa
will
that
be
day.
in Iowa. I'll be
I'm
up
just going
there.
to be
Sorry.
in the corn.
You're going to watch it from the corn?
Yeah, it's like Children of the Corn.
Yes.
Sterling in
Oh,
the corn.
my God. What was your name? Malachi?
I think about doing the Cove, like in San Fran. I'll get like a canoe out there and just
In the corn?
You know what? No, like a harvester. I'm gonna get a harvester out there and just
That's
set
Frank.
my truck and
Yeah.
it'll be
Is that what
great.
they're called? They're called harvesters, right?
Tractor.
No, that's those big trucks are called harvesters.
Combines?
No, they're not called combines. They're called harvesters.
No, combine's what you do in India, okay? In Iowa, it's a harvester. I'm an international harvester.
I just like the fact that he called it a combine, a harvester. That's Frank.
I think I also saw that San Francisco's gotten the 28 All-Star game as well. so.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'll do the opposite. I'll get my canoe for Iowa,
That's right.
and I'll get my combine in San Fran.
There you go.
I don't think they float, but we'll see. We'll find out.
Why can't you get a floating combine? I mean, anything can float if you build it correctly.
How many will Cags hit into McCovey Cove in 28?
Oh, I love that.
And
He's got to be a part of that. Yeah, because in 2028, he'll be on the roster as an all-star, right? I mean, kind of expecting that to be the case.
It'd be silly not to.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be the starting first baseman.
Right fielder, yeah.
For the American League in McCovey Cove, and he will hit a whole bunch of them out there. You got to have, see, and that's the thing, is the beautiful part about Cags being a lefty, is if that home run derby is there in San Francisco, you need to have lefties in that home run derby. You need to have a good portion of lefties participating, so that means Cags will be participating. I, for one, am glad that Cags didn't do the home run derby this year, because I would have hated to see his swing get messed up by the home run derby. That would have sucked. Except for the fact that he's turning into a superstar. Cags is since that home run derby, but yeah, 2028 San Francisco All-Star Game, 2027 Royals, Red Sox, Field of Dreams. Did you watch the game last night?
I watched part of it, yeah, with Schwarber hitting 2 bombs.
Even though it was on Netflix, you watched it?
No, I just saw the highlights.
Okay.
I mean, like I didn't pull enough. Well, we actually, I take that back. We did watch some of it. We watched at my friend's house because we were playing Golden Tee. We got a Golden Tee machine in his basement, and so he's the sucker and pays for streaming services. And so we actually did have it on. We had that. We were flipping between that and the preseason game.
It shows how King football is, and the fact that you've got the Field of Dreams game with
Correct.
the team trying to make the playoffs and the Phillies and home runs leaving the yard and landing in corn, and you're like, let me check out this third stringer for the Titans.
Well,
Let me see what this guy's all about. Let me see what Bajal Tootin's doing for the Jags. I don't even know what they play.
I do like Bajal Tootin, but
you darn tootin' you do.
Schwarber's first one was a bomb. His second one should have been caught by, was it Luke Keichel in right
Yes,
field?
he knocked it out. I mean, it bounced off his glove,
It
right?
would have gone out if he didn't touch it.
Oh, I see.
But it also
Didn't
looked
help
worse
that it
that he
bounces
did
off his glove. Yes.
touch it, and
It wasn't exactly Canseco
correct. It wasn't off his dome.
off his head.
Tell you what, great for fantasy baseball. Thank you, Schwarber.
Thank you. I got Kyle Schwarber as well. You know, I play the fantasy sports too. I didn't know you did.
Shocking, I know.
Yeah, interesting. Do you play fantasy football, Sterling?
Shockingly, yes, I know.
Okay, interesting.
John Gruden.
Are you going to draft Cyrus Allen in your draft?
If it'd be a late round.
Is that
pick.
right?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I always wonder when it comes to fantasy sports, and everybody plays it, so we can talk a little bit about it, but this isn't like somebody's particular team. I always wonder, like, sometimes you get the hometown tax,
Yes.
but sometimes you get the hometown discount. I'll give you 2 examples. Carter Jensen, there was a hometown tax
Yes.
this last year in paying for Carter in our auction league. 2 years ago, there was a hometown discount because Michael Garcia went for $1 right before he broke out.
Yeah.
And it's like across the country, he would have gone for more because if you just look at the, stolen bases. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's going to get you 34 stolen bases. He's not going to help you with average or home runs, but there's an easy 35 bags, and you're going to pay more than $1 for that. It might have been $3 or $4, right? In Kansas City, it's like, no, we've all seen Michael, and I'm not paying for the stolen bases because, the batting average sucks, and he's struggling. He can't get on base in front of Bobby, and I'm not doing it. All right, I'll pay $1 for him. It was like the hometown discount because you're so familiar with him. Cyrus is going to be the hometown tax.
Yeah.
But I also think there might be a national tax because they're also seeing it and going, well, the Chiefs don't have any wide receivers, and it looks like Cyrus Allen's going to be their number 1, and maybe somebody overpays for that guy. I don't know. Or drafts him 2 or 3 rounds too early if you're in a snake, yearly draft. Because that was a conversation I saw yesterday with it was Yahoo's fantasy sports people, and the only reason I clicked on it is because they were talking about Cyrus Allen, right? And one of the guys was talking about, he was like, oh, he's my something ranked wide receiver in redraft leagues, and the other guy was like, ha! And he was like, okay, so you don't have him ranked. He's like, it's a redraft. He's a waiver wire player to me. Like,
Yeah, I'd
I'll
probably.
wait until I see him. But if it was a dynasty or a keeper,
Yeah, different.
yeah, I'd be drafting him. But in a redraft league, I can't spend a draft pick on a guy that may actually just turn out to be the 4th or 5th receiver for the Chiefs. I'll waiver wire him and
Yeah.
take my chances on other guys, which I think is probably the route you would go,
Correct.
except for Kansas City. It's not going to, in redraft leagues, snake drafts, he's not going to be a waiver wire guy
No.
anywhere around the city.
The list should be Rasheed, Worthy, and then Allen, I think, if I was going.
Yeah.
And I would probably even go Rice, maybe Kelsey, if you're going to throw in tight ends in there. Kenneth Walker is the most valuable
Yeah.
Chiefs player. I don't think it's
Yeah.
really that hot of a take. Rice, I just don't know. We'll find out. Patrick's been very, very low on a lot of boards. If you're in a 10-man
Yeah.
league, I've seen him not drafted in 10-man. Well, not a starting quarterback in a 10-man league. I think that's pretty
I'm in a
asinine.
Cowardly Lion league.
I think Patrick will probably have a bounce back year.
Drake didn't like that. He's giving me the slow head shake. He was not happy with that one. Sorry.
It is funny. I
Scarecrow league, whatever.
I don't know how many Chiefs you really want offensively. It's not a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you go to tight ends, Kelsey I think is falling down lists because
Yeah,
the
he's
age and
probably like
everything.
the
Sixth to
8th,
seventh,
9th tight end on, but you would still draft him as a starter.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Like he's going to be, if you take Travis Kelsey, it's because you've waited on tight ends and you take him and he's going to be your starter. I don't know that
And
you're going to
same
get
with
Travis
Patrick,
Kelsey
by
as
the
your
way.
backup.
I think Patrick's the same way. Where if you
Yeah.
draft him, you're
You're waiting on quarterbacks.
very funny how
Yeah.
it's gone this way. Now I think Rice, you're gonna have to get a little earlier than people I think would like.
Mhm.
I do think that a lot of the national stuff. And again, it all depends on what league you're in, who's local or not. I got a
For
lot
sure.
of people from like Chicago or,
See, that
or like
helps. Yeah.
or Bills fans or
Right.
And
see,
Bears
and
fans are the worst because they're like Caleb Williams and
Right.
Luther Burden. That was my
Yeah,
that
that's-
that one killed me last year. He reached for him early. And
Uh,
it wasn't a reach.
Yeah, no, it ended up not being a reach. And now if it's a keeper league, it's definitely not a reach because, with trading away DJ Moore, it's all about Luther and Rome and Colston Loveland. Like it's those 3 guys. And then you've got, Swift that's there in the backfield along with Caleb Williams. So we'll see what happens with that. So, yeah. But as I said, I don't know how we got to that. But the Royals are playing in the Field of Dreams game.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow we got around to Cyrus Allen in fantasy football. And
Well, my dream would be if Cyrus Allen breaks out. How about that?
Yeah, but
And they're going to be playing on a field.
but you're probably going to take the field from the first 3 receivers or so from the Chiefs before you get to Cyrus. Is what
We
you're
got
saying.
there.
Yep, that's right. You more play the field there than just one particular specific guy. But there's always going to be a sleeper or 2 somewhere around the league that breaks out, and you're like, man, I did not see that coming for this guy, and now he turns out to be a really good player and a keeper or whatever, and maybe even a league winner in a redraft league. Who knows?
Real quick.
Yep.
The Terrion Arnold picking
Yeah.
the Seahawks. I still will never get how, if you are the team that has the guy who does the heinous thing, you have to cut him. You have to, or else you get the backlash. But if you're the team that signs him, it's, well, look at Seattle giving him a second chance. How good of that? Good on them. What a great idea. It's asinine. It's absurd. It's erroneous. It's this falsehood of fakeness.
Yep. Terrion Arnold is expected to sign with the Seahawks. He had the workout. They showed it on Hard Knocks. I was actually surprised at all of the behind-the-scenes stuff they showed about the conversation with bringing in and signing Terrion Arnold. The Chiefs also, I guess, were one of the teams that reached out as well. So who knows? More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes. The Drake, we had up until 2 o'clock. It was the Seahawks, Texans, Saints, and Giants that talked to Terrion Arnold. Chiefs reached out to Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Much different. Much different.
It's that feeling of when you go to break.
Oh my
Jason,
God,
and you
the
can't-
worst.
You just want to tell Drake, stop the commercials.
No,
let me
no,
come
no.
back.
I just want to jump on real quick in the middle of the commercial. Let me just right in the middle. That first commercial's done. Hey, everybody! I just want to do there we go, and we're good. Play the next commercials, please, if you can do that. You know, when you I don't know if the Chiefs would have reached out to Terrion Arnold if Rashee Rice had never been on the highway that day. Because there are some times where it feels like you are precluded from reaching out to somebody because it might be just a little too much. And with the offseason that they had with Rashee, you get to a point to where you go, all right, you know, maybe not worth it from that standpoint. Whereas the Seahawks have built up sort of goodwill, if you want to call it that, with their own fan base to where they wouldn't be so mad to whether revolt or be offended that you brought this guy in because you're still in the euphoric stage of winning a Super Bowl and you haven't even presented the banner at Lumen Lumen Field yet that you'll do on the first night of the season. That banner will be, you know, that's covered. They'll just drop that banner and it'll be there, the Super Bowl champions of Super Bowl number 2. But I talked about this the other day, that watching this latest episode of Hard Knocks with the Seahawks, I was surprised at how much the Seahawks showed in the behind-the-scenes stuff with Terrion Arnold, because it shows them talking about it. It also then has John Schneider talking to Mike McDonald and saying how much Jalen Milroe loves the guy and vouches for the guy. And essentially it's like he's around the wrong people. Being in Seattle will be good for him.
Yeah.
Back over here, being here will be good for him. Then it shows a meeting or a scene that it's John Schneider and his son that works for the Seahawks, and they are talking about finding recent examples of player or teams bringing in players that had a troubled off-field incident or multiple incidents, that what the reaction was. What did the fans of the team say? What did the national sort of reaction? What was it that they were going and trying to find different examples of that? It's like it was like to his son. He's like, all right, let's go and find any example we can use or discover of these different players that teams have brought in. Then it actually showed the behind the scenes workout, and it showed Terrion Arnold working out with them. And then it, you know, goes to the end of the episode, and he leaves the facility, and that was really it. But I was still surprised that there was that much behind the scenes. And what I took from that is the Seahawks were going to sign him, and they might have been going into it going, we're signing him unless we find a reason not to. We're not going to sign him, but we'll do our due diligence. We'll bring him in for a workout, but, you know, we're not going to go down this route. Certainly felt like, hey, let's find all of the other, let's see the reaction, right?
Sure.
How much due diligence are you doing in what took place? I would hope they would have done that. They're doing their due diligence in talking to people that are friends with him in the NFL, that know him in the NFL. Maybe they've reached out to the Lions, maybe not. Who knows? But it certainly felt like it was we're looking for a reason not to sign him, but we're going to. And he helps out the defense, and he's that good as a cornerback. We don't know what it's going to be like for him if he's going to be on the commissioner's exempt list.
I'd imagine he would be, right?
That's typically what he does for domestic violence, though. We haven't seen, at least not that I know of, where there's
Rashee
been. He wasn't on the commissioner's exempt list because it wasn't for the commissioner's exempt list. Has typically been for DV.
So the suspension is it's separate than from the commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah, the commissioner's exempt list is
Rasheed's-
where you
Yeah.
you put him there. The last player to be on the commissioner's exempt list, I think, was, and I don't want to get something wrong here, was it Justin Ross? When there were the allegations of what took place at the apartment, I'm pretty sure that was him, and he went on the exempt list for like 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. And so pretty much that is saved for those that have issues with I want to make sure I'm getting it right because I don't want to say the wrong name.
Okay, looks like
placed on exempt list. Yep.
You got it. Okay.
Yep, because he was arrested on the charges of domestic battery and some other things and property damage. So while the investigation was going on, he was put on the commissioner's exempt list. That's typically what Roger Goodell does, is when there's an investigation going on for domestic violence, that's what they use that for. If it's a criminal issue, they let the courts play out. And then when it's done, they put their suspension out there.
Well, Rasheed's was different because it was in the off season, and then he was injured, right?
Well, no, he was injured that year because
he played
because I joked when he got
but I guess
when he got injured. I joked and said he should serve his suspension right now.
That was
But
unique.
yes,
you're right. That was unique. I'm just trying to think.
because that was off season. He went through and played the season. Then he worked with the courts and pleaded guilty, took the plea agreement, got whatever sentence it was, and then the NFL weighed in on it, and they gave them the suspension of 6 games. I'm going to guess that Terron Arnold's not going to be placed on the commissioner's exempt list. I mean, he was arrested not for, if this was domestic violence, he would be put on the commissioner's exempt list.
Why do we have to, again, just going back to why do we do the same song and dance of if Arnold would have stayed with the Lions, it would have been a disaster for the Lions. But it's not that for Seattle. Because the same thing happened with Kareem Hunt. If the Chiefs would have kept Kareem Hunt, I get the line and all this stuff, but just take that out for 1 second.
Yeah, because
here.
the Chiefs have caught a lot of flack for not immediately releasing Rashee Rice.
Correct. But I guarantee if Rasheed would have gone to, let's say, the Jets, everyone would have said, well, good for the Jets for giving him a second chance.
Yeah, take a chance on the guy. And
Take a chance.
If he's learned his lesson finally.
Correct. And that's almost what it was with Kareem Hunt when he went to the Browns. It was, well, the Browns are taking a nice flyer on a guy who was really good. Like, I don't get why, for some reason, we have to do this nonsensical dance of if you stay with the same team, you're corrupt.
I think it's more of what you did.
No,
because
but I agree.
the domestic violence stuff, I think, is going to be, if you keep that player, you're going to be viewed as overlooking something and only caring about winning. If that player is released and you bring him in, you're going to be viewed as caring more about winning than what this particular person did and was alleged to have done or charged with, and you should be thinking more about that, and that player shouldn't be worth it. I think that the only team that comes out with the sort of moral high ground, if it's something with DV, is the team that releases him.
Sure, but it just feels like
and it also depends on how much the rest of the NFL likes you.
True.
Because if the Chiefs signed Terron Arnold, there would be a huge of course it's the Chiefs. They don't care about anything. They're criminals anyway.
Which, by the way, what the hell did Christian Wilkins do then? Yeah. Maybe if you want to think about that, I mean, that still is mind blowing that we don't know more details or anything. That no Raiders will come out, but it puts the Christian Wilkins situation into a perspective. I think. But
it's also the weight scale of how good you are, the impact you think you can make,
the foot, but
and
still,
Terron Arnold being healthy and an immediate impact player versus, okay, is this stuff going to be? Is he just going to reach a plea agreement that he's not going to have to serve jail time, and there's going to be probation, and there's more to the story, and it's now a competition between 4 or 5 teams to sign him amid the legal issues, because they feel confident things are going to work in their favor. And if they don't, well, we'll just release him anyway.
And to your point, the Chiefs probably couldn't bring on Arnold, backlash perception, fair or not, because of Rice. Seattle, I don't know of anyone off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
like when the Raiders or the Bengals do, what do you say? Well, that's the
Well,
Bengals. That's the Raiders.
It's the Raiders. It's what they do.
And the Chiefs, to an extent, don't want that moniker. Clark Hunt does not want that moniker.
Mhm.
And if you bring in Arnold, I think that's part of the situation as well. Is can you handle the PR, fair or not?
Mhm.
If you are an owner, you don't want that. You want to be known for winning. You want to be known for success. Does Arnold help you? Sure. But with the cornerback room how it is, you think there's some depth there. Can you afford to bring in a PR nightmare? Because the Chiefs would be that. Seattle doesn't have that. You're right, because they just won a Super Bowl. I can't think of anyone else on their team that had, at least,
Mhm.
currently on their team, who had that.
The Chiefs went down this route in 2022, and they caught a lot of flack for it, and I wasn't too happy about it. But they signed Damon Arnett,
Oh, yeah.
and then 9 days later they released him. He then played or signed with the Texans. I don't think he's played in an NFL game
Yeah.
since playing with the Raiders, and since he was released by the Raiders. But the Dolphins signed him and released him to the practice
He's
squad.
he's plays for the Houston Gamblers of the UFL.
okay. All right, well, teams, rolled the dice with him at that point, but the Chiefs signed him to that reserve futures contract, and it was like, really? I mean, this is the route. Is it worth it? And then they released him on the 29th. After the whatever issue in Las Vegas, and it was like, really? I mean, that's what you get for going and signing him. And that also might be what will color the Chiefs' decision around Terrion Arnold. Because if there's a team that you would look at and go, boy, they could use some help there at the cornerback spot, it's not necessarily the Seahawks that have Witherspoon getting ready to sign a massive deal, and Eamon Worry, the team that's got that stud defense in Seattle, not necessarily that team, right, that you would say they're the ones that need this particular player, right? That's not exactly the Texans, that was his first visit, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And you're like, really? The Texans that have all of these players in the secondary are bringing in Terrion Arnold. They are not in need of this player, but they're bringing him in. According to Adam Schefter, again, I don't know who reached out. I haven't seen any reports of who's reached out to him other than he visited Texans, Saints, Giants, and Seahawks. And he signs with the Seahawks, and maybe it was his choice. Maybe it was the Saints were going to sign him, and the Giants were going to sign him.
Yeah, maybe it
and the
options,
Texans. Yeah. And maybe, you know what? Maybe the Texans were initially going to sign him, and he's like, yeah, I mean, am I going to play? I mean, look at your freaking team right now in the defense. Come on. Seattle's got a pretty studly defense too, and then the Giants and the Saints, do you want to go there and maybe not play or not win when you're on the Lions and you were hoping to win? I don't know, but I think it's something to where I wonder, I think 31 teams kicked the tires on Terrion Arnold. There are 31 teams out there that had a meeting with the front office, coaches, at least an email.
Sure.
But a meeting of some sort, a communication of some sort of, do we bring this guy in? What do we think about reaching out to this guy's agent to bring him in? What do we know about what took place? Is this worth it? Would he be the difference maker on the team that weight scale would balance out of the PR hit you take versus what you get on the field? And you're not going to have 53 choir boys, but you also don't want to be a team that brings in criminals and, you don't care about all of those things. Because it's one thing to say we're standing by this guy because we know him and we have a relationship with him and we drafted him and he's our guy. It's another thing to say we don't know anything about him, but we're bringing him in because the talent's great.
Yeah.
So we're sort of dismissing all of those other things because we've been told these things about him, but we have no idea. Because what if he comes in and he's got those issues and then he becomes a malcontent?
Yeah.
Then he's an issue in the locker room. And now it's like, what are we doing? We took all that PR hit for this guy because you don't know what you're getting. If it's a second team, I'd rather be the second team of somebody that's had some issues because then you know you get in trouble again, teams are not going to be willing to sign you at that point.
Sure.
You start to run into getting yourself out of the league. So we'll see. I don't know that the Chiefs, one, were all that interested in bringing him in. I would have been interested in bringing him in without knowing, who was there that night and what the lawyers are saying and what maybe his agent is saying, what the truth is saying.
The Lions did release him quickly.
Yeah, they did.
They did not wait for more information.
Yep. And that's first round pick in 2024.
I mean,
this guy's going into year 3 as a first round draft pick cornerback.
That felt like it was a very quick. Let me see if I can find the dates on that.
How quickly he was released.
Yeah, I mean, it felt very quick, and I could be completely wrong, and maybe it wasn't. So he was released on June 29th.
Yeah, so he
on June 24th.
June 24th, the evening of June 24th, that happened. He was arrested on June 24th. He was released on the 29th.
So 5 days, yeah.
Yeah, so they waited 5 days there.
That's pretty quick. That's not like we're going to wait for more information. That was a
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got 5 days worth of it. So where you did some investigating to a degree, trying to find out what took place. But that's what would scare me if I was the Chiefs, if I was another team out there, if I was the Seahawks. What would scare me is this team knows him, spent a first-round draft pick on him. He's been a good player, not necessarily the player they were hoping they were going to get in the first round. He may not even be starting this year, but it doesn't mean you immediately cut the guy. He's still going to be, even if he doesn't start, he'd be the third cornerback on that team.
Yeah.
And that team, after 5 days of trying to find as much information of what took place there, said, juice isn't worth the squeeze. We're moving on. That would scare me from that standpoint. And there's a part of me that's happy the Chiefs didn't go that route because they very easily could have gone down the route of saying, we're going to sign Terrion Arnold and bring him in because we need cornerbacks. And that would be from a more desperate standpoint than a what's the smarter move overall for the team? What's the smarter move for the culture? And do you want to take a chance on a guy like this that can come in and you don't know anything about him?
So he's a young dude. We know the talent's there, but you also don't want to insert that when you're having so much change already in the defense, right? When Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu came in, you're trying to overhaul and bring in a new mindset. Now, Frank Clark had his own situations, right, that were not ideal. But that was the mindset and the change. Do you want to bring in the mindset and the change and you have a situation where that's the talking point and not about Alohi Gilman or Noah Williams or Mansour Delane? That's just a difficult situation to get in. Also, just sticking with football a little different here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the Pickett and Jaden Daniels saga continues.
I saw,
Not really.
But Jaden Daniels released a statement. I saw that, put it on his IG. Is there something now with Pickett?
Well, no, Pickett just says he has no plans to change
Good
out
for
of
him.
number 5.
Good for
he
him.
goes, I've worn the whole number my whole life. I've worn it since I was 4. It's a number I was promised by LSU. I wish Jaden the best, good player, and he did real good at LSU. So that's all. It came off a little funny. I don't know why, but just I wish Jaden the best, good player. He did real good here at LSU. So that's all. Fine. Give him a little bit of flowers. Won a Heisman. But if you're promised that number, I get it's a number. It's so funny how this has gone into this large conversation when it's just a damn number at the end of the day. It is kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Burrow was asked about it, and he said, well, I was told that nobody would wear the number 9 before, number 9 again. when I left, and he goes, "But who knows? Things happen, you know." I do wonder what Joe Burrow's reaction would be if somebody, were number 9.
Again, I think it's so difficult. If you won a Heisman, I feel like that's a great prideful thing for your school. But also, you didn't win a championship. You went, as you mentioned, 10-3, 10-4. It wasn't like it was this massive historic season for LSU. They beat Missouri that year.
Mm-hmm.
I was there.
They did. And Jane Daniels was pretty awesome.
I was at that game. Malik Neighbors went off.
Yeah, Jane Daniels was pretty good. Malik Neighbors was pretty good. They turned out to be good players in the NFL.
Wasn't also Brian Thomas Jr. on that team, too? I think it was both of them.
Probably, yes. Yeah, I think he was on that team. There was a player by the name of Luther Burden that was on Missouri's team. He's a pretty good player.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, no, it was a good
Great game until the very end, and the Missouri lost, and I was
Yeah.
devastated. That was when someone threw an interception to like the defensive lineman.
Well, Brady Cook also had a wide open Luther Burden down inside their own. It was that pick 6. I think it ended up being the pick 6.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Oh, man, Luther Burden was so wide open and might have been running for a touchdown, but he underthrew him or overthrew him. I can't remember which was. Doesn't matter. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, and I want to talk a little bit about and hear from Tyrann Mathieu. There's some clips that I cut up from Tyrann Mathieu's podcast. We heard him talk about Cyrus Allen and Kenneth Walker, but he weighs in on a couple of other players. We'll get into that, and we got the cuts before the show is over as well. More Zone rolling along on this Friday edition here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. ballad song? Sterling, what do you think about that? Sterling was in the middle of taking a bite, and apparently he heated it up too much in the microwave. It was too hot, and then he was like, oh my gosh, we're back, so he just shoved it in his mouth, and then he's like, oh man, it's too hot in here, and now he's got a burn tongue. Now
I
you can't
just
taste
burnt
anything
my
the next.
entire mouth.
Yeah, take that. That's what you get for chowing down in the middle of the show. You got to wait till 2 like the rest of us do.
Well, no, I thought we would have a little intro, so I go, I can blow on this. Didn't have time.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's hot. My eyes are watering.
Man, I mean, I love how you immediately just throw Drake under the bus.
Well,
Not that you decided to take a huge bite.
I guess I'm Ray
right
Lewis,
as the
Ray Lewis of the show, allegedly.
That's fine. You stabbed him in the back. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You just take a huge bite right before we're ready to come back anyway with the music.
Well, that should give me like 10
It
seconds.
should. I apologize.
But
No, it's
but
not
also,
your fault, Drake. It's not your fault.
But Sterling, you know,
I love you. It's not your fault.
But Sterling, you know, if you take that huge bite right as the music is playing, I'm going to come back and ask you a question.
Yeah, that's just
You know
rude
that.
of you.
You know
That's-
that.
I'm crying.
It's how we work.
Ah,
you know?
that was so hot.
It's okay. You don't have to cry about it.
Well, who?
Why don't you cry about it,
Why?
saddlebags?
There needs to be a microwave ability that's like even. Make the heat distribute even through said enchiladas and not have one part be semi-cool and the other part be the inside of a hot pocket hot.
Be smart about how you do it then.
Well, I didn't have
Gotta
time.
rotate
I
it, gotta
ran.
cut it up sometimes. You know, you got to do all those things. Be smarter than the machine, okay?
Ow.
You're a human. You've got the ability to critically think.
I
The
do sports
machines
talk
don't.
radio. No one said I was smart.
Well, at least you're self-aware. About time. Let's hear from Tyrann Mathieu. A couple of players that he was impressed with when he was up at training camp in his In the Bayou podcast that he had. Let's play clip number 1 here. And, boy, you want to talk about high praise. High praise for the man wearing number 99, first-round draft pick out of Clemson in Peter Woods. Here's what Tyrann Mathieu in his couple of days up at camp saw from Peter Woods.
Chris Jones never really had any help on the D-line, specifically like in the middle of the defense, right? But they got a young kid named Peter Woods. I mean, like, and I played against Aaron Donald, and y'all know me too on the Bayou. Like, I ain't just handing out certificates because I think you good. This dude got some Aaron Donald in him, bro. I'm talking about short, stocky, quick, strong, like powerful, mean, right? Like that's another thing, right? That's a box you gotta check off. If you recruiting or you coach, like you need mean D linemen.
He's got some bleeping Aaron Donald in him, and that's what he saw from Peter Woods. I played with and against Aaron Donald, and he's got Aaron Donald.
What
there
do
in
you
him.
played with him?
I don't know. Maybe he just said played against. I'm not sure. But he's got some bleeping Aaron Donald in him. He's short, strong, quick, and he plays mean. And that's a box. That's a box you got to check off in recruiting and in the NFL. You got to be mean if you're going to be a defensive lineman in the NFL and at high level college football. So look, we know this at Clemson. He didn't play next to Chris Jones. And whatever the reason is as to why his junior year was not nearly the same of his sophomore and freshman year. But so far in camp, he has looked the part. And he's blown up the offensive line from time to time. We'll see what he looks like tomorrow. But Tyrann Mathieu, clearly a big fan of Peter Woods and what he can do for Chris Jones. And he's right. Chris Jones hasn't had much help in the interior in his time in Kansas City. He had help to the outside with Dee Ford and Justin Houston. And then he had some help with Frank Clark, but like somebody in the interior lining up next to him. He had a little bit with Turk Wharton in that year, and then Turk was a free agent and signed with the Panthers. And unfortunately for him, he's been dealing with injuries, ever since he
He's
signed.
pretty good at that, letting guys go when they get injured.
Yep. A career year for Turk, capitalized, awesome. Feel good for
Jerry
him,
Sneed,
man.
same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
The Rams, be nervous.
Yeah,
You got two of them.
Yeah, probably right about that one. But he's right. We haven't seen somebody. We were hoping last year Omar Norman Lott could be that on a rotational basis. That, okay, third down, Chris Jones is on the interior. We'll see what you have on the exterior as an edge, but Omar Norman Lott now lining up next to Chris Jones as a specific pass rusher. And now if you double team Chris, you get one-on-one with this guy. If you slide the coverage one way or another, maybe Chris Jones gets some sort of an advantage against a particular player, finds the mismatch like he always tends to do in passing situations. But I'm really excited about Peter Woods and what he can be and how he can change the overall complexity and production of the defensive line that was missing last year. There's a reason the Chiefs were god-awful on 3rd and long last year. It's because they couldn't get pressure with 4 and sometimes even 5.
Yeah.
And then when they blitzed, if you didn't get pressure, now there are guys running wide open in the secondary.
Yeah.
So just offering that, guys lining up next to each other, Chris Jones and Peter Woods, if he can be close to that, and I'm not even saying close to Aaron Donald.
No.
Just be a good player that offers the ability to win one-on-one.
I think Peter Woods can. Everything we've seen has been phenomenal. I love, was it Kyrus Tonga said he's a little pit bull?
Yeah, little pit bull.
I just...
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a pit bull. We've heard a lot of different names.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued by this. Again, we know the talent's there. We know the Clemson situation is what we don't know. We know we don't know about that, and we'll maybe never know what happened. But again, I think there's some things you can take away of a young guy on a young team who switched semi-positions as far as what he was asked to do, and the Clemson team didn't start off great when you had, college football playoff aspirations, and it's not saying this is a positive, but when that happens and you fall behind early in the season, no, you're not going to make it any longer. It's easy to semi-roll over and say, well, man, I have other things to focus on, like getting ready for the draft. I think a lot of guys could have done that on that Clemson team. I think, again, when you're 21 years old, let's be real. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying it could easily happen. I think him next to Chris Jones, his entire defensive line, is going to be a massive change. You have 3 guys you really like. Karlaftis, Peter Woods, Chris Jones. Can you find the 4th? And to an extent, I think Kyrus Tonga. I think you have 4 guys in the D-line you really like.
I mean, you got a guy on the PUP list and Omar Norman Lott that hopefully when he returns, you know.
But you don't know.
For sure.
I think that's too hard to say.
But you did draft him in the 2nd round to be a pass rusher.
You drafted FAU in the 1st round to be a pass rusher. You drafted R. Mason Thomas. We'll find out. I think right now there's 4 guys in the D-line that you really, really like. And can you find the opposite edge to make this D-line go from 4 to 5 to 6 deep? Can FAU or R. Mason Thomas, can one of those guys step up, and then all of a sudden you're looking at a really solid D-line? Can you do what Atlanta did, going from an atrocious D-line to a very, very good D-line in one offseason? We'll see.
Yeah. Week 7 is when Omar Norman Lott tore his ACL last year. So, again, he's still on the PUP list. And we haven't really heard much about when he may come off the PUP list, but he's recovering. I don't know if they get anything from him this year. But if they get a rotational pass rushing defensive tackle that they took in the 2nd round because he was a guy that was on Tennessee just specifically to rush the passer, then that adds something to the overall depth of the defensive line. You get something from FAU. Omar Norman Lott shows the juice that people have talked about and the explosiveness. Peter Woods looks more like freshman or sophomore or going into junior year #1 overall prospect in college football for the 2026 NFL draft, is closer to that. And Karlaftis, becomes a guy that isn't just a set-the-edge player. Chris Jones is still Chris Jones. Like, there's a lot of ifs that go along with that. But there are more options than a year ago. Like, they didn't have many options last year. It was hopefully Omar Norman Lott's a guy that can do something as a 3 technique, because you got Pennell and Noddy and Jerry Tillery and Karlaftis. FAU, nope. He's out for the year. So, Amenahue, no. Dana, no. Like, you didn't have options last year that you could really go to in personnel. Like, they changed around the options in personnel on the defensive line, and they changed around the options in personnel at the running back spot as well. 2 places that were real issues last year. Now, one of the issues last year was the slot corner spot.
Yeah.
That was controlled by Shamari Connor. So Tyrann Mathieu, and Drake, this is clip number 3. Tyrann Mathieu was asked about who else he saw at camp that he was impressed with. And he mentioned the rookies and Peter Woods and Cyrus Allen. We played the clip that he talked about Ken Walker, as he called him. I like that. But he also weighed in on this fella that he was really impressed with.
Shamari Connor, they call him C2, but he started there for like the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he played nickel last year, but they finally moved him to safety. So he's kind of doing what I did for Spags defense. He's running the middle. He's playing hook. I think he's a guy that if he don't make All Pro this year, he'll be a Pro Bowler. I think he's that good.
I mean, Tyrann, Peter Woods has some Aaron Donald. Shamari Connor, if he's not an All-Pro, he should be a Pro Bowler this year. He's that good. Now that they moved him out of the slot, the nickel spot, and he said he's doing what I did. He's running the middle there, and we'll see. Maybe that's what they're going to get from Shamari Connor. And if that's the case, then, man, you got some real questions as why he was playing out of position last year and what in the heck they ever saw in him being a nickel corner, slot corner, as opposed to somebody that, if he does play to that level, or let's be honest, even close to that level, like no reason to waste what you wasted in him last year playing him in the slot.
Which I think was always confusing to a lot of people, because I think a lot of people agreed that he was good as a traditional-ish safety his rookie year. I don't know if Trip McDuffie was like, hey, I'm an outside corner, I want my money.
Well,
I want to
know that. Yeah.
Right, like I'm an outside corner, I don't want to play slot. Okay. Well, then you can't play him, Fulton, and Knoll. You can't play him, Knoll, and Jalen, because those guys are outside corners only. So it made the roster breakdown or construction a little awkward. So who knows? There's always things behind the scenes that we will never know fully.
But they obviously, it's funny, we mentioned defensive line and running back. Well, what did they do in the offseason, too? They went out and tried to attack the slot position, Cater Kohu and Kennedy.
Yeah.
They go and sign, and they go and draft.
Well, and also CRW got healthy, too. So that's a
so now they
difference.
have 3 options. So it's like options at defensive line, options at running back, but it's Kenneth Walker.
Sure.
But now options for your slot cornerback. And even L'Jarius Sneed, who was a phenomenal slot corner before he moved out predominantly outside, and Trent McDuffie played the slot.
Guys want to move outside if you're a corner because you make more money. It's not quite the same as relievers versus starter in baseball. It's not that quite of a drastic breakdown, but there is a little bit of okay, if you're outside, you will get paid more. Maybe like guard and tackle. Like, yeah, if you're an elite slot corner, if you're an elite guard, Trey Smith, you're an elite inside guy, was it Jalen Johnson, maybe Cooper DeJean, you'll get paid. But you'll get paid more if you're an elite tackle or an elite outside corner. That's just the nature of the game. So I understand to an extent why corners and why offensive linemen say, no, I'm a left tackle, not a right. No, I'm an outside corner, not a slot guy.
Well, and also, and I'm not saying that somebody should play for free because they got a big contract, but L'Jarius Sneed went through the slot corner to then moving to the outside his last year in Kansas City, and he got the $50 million guaranteed from the Titans. I mean, you got the life-changing money. You got the generational wealth changing money. So now, do you feel the need that, no, I want to play outside. I want to travel with the receivers. I want to play outside so I can go get paid again? He's never going to get that type of money because people don't trust the knee. The Tennessee Titans paid him that money, and they got burned by playing only 12 games in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So even if he has a good season for the Chiefs on a one-year deal, he's not going somewhere signing a 4-year, $50 million contract.
No.
So how about play to where you can be effective and you can actually be productive? And if that's going back to how amazing you were as a slot corner, then, hey, do it. And then hopefully Mansour Delane and Noah Williams are starting on the outside. Last one here. Tyrann Mathieu, clip number 4 here. Tyrann Mathieu talking about spending some time and still watching the old man, Travis Kelce, who, according to Tyrann Mathieu, still has it.
I'm expecting him to just not be here
no more.
Like
Right.
maybe he's here, but he ain't here.
Right.
Like he was locked in, bro, every day. And that's one of the things I always respected about Kelce, man, was that dude never took days off, bro.
Right.
Like every time I went to that practice field, I could expect him to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that says a lot about. He's 36, bro, 35, 36.
Yeah.
Like
been doing it.
And like, yeah, obviously he was in great shape, great mood, great spirit, same old Trav, but like he looks good. Like whatever that Travis was that we saw last year, he don't look nothing like that guy.
Get a different version this year.
You know
That's
what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was really, really happy to see that.
October 5th, he turns 37. So a 36-year-old about to turn 37. And, I tell this story a lot, and I tell it to even, the kids that I coach just as an example. When I first got a chance to cover the Chiefs and be out at practice and stuff, and that was cool, a dream. And it was at training camp in River Falls. And I remember practice was over, and we're all going somewhere to do the media stuff and everything. And the field is emptying, and Tony Gonzalez is out there on the jugs machine, just doing, catch after catch, catch after catch, running routes, catch, just out there. The whole time we're doing the interviews and stuff, then we're leaving, and he's still out there. And my first thought is, by being an idiot, was, why does he's the best tight end in the NFL. He doesn't need to do that. And then, of course, you realize after you get slapped upside the head, no, he's the best tight end because he's doing that.
Yeah.
That's the reason. And as Tyrann Mathieu said, Travis never took a practice off. If I was walking to the practice field, I knew he was going to be there and be locked in. He never took a practice off. And Andy Reid's talked about that this training camp, that Travis has been there locked in every single practice, which is also example to show to the younger guys of how you go about it. And it's like, he could take some practices off. He's the greatest that ever lived at the position. But the reason he's that good is because he never did that. Is because every single practice was to the extreme. And we'll see if Tyrann Mathieu is right, that what we saw last year is not that Travis. I would say 2 years ago, he already proved last year that he wasn't 2024 Travis. Yeah. And if 2026 is better than 2025 Travis, well, then you're looking at probably 1,000 yards receiving, if that's the case, if you're talking about that natural progression. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We got the cuts before the show is over. That's coming up next. All right, wrapping up a Friday edition, week's worth of shows here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, The Zone. Jason Anderson, Sterling Holmes, the Drake, filling in for one Michael Darcy. We got some bonus hour coming your way tonight at 6 o'clock, and Todd Lebo will be taking over when we are done here with the program coming up in about 15 minutes from now. But hey, what do you say? Let's go ahead and get the cuts rolling, Drake, on this Friday. Let's hear what's happened on the different shows this week.
Why you have me on, Petro?
It is. It's the only reason.
Not for my good looks or charm, for my extremely pasty skin. It's very interesting when you have no control over the lighting on a set, and you look back at it afterward, and you say, "My God, I really do look like Casper the Friendly Ghost."
or young Reagan. Before you go quickly, a man named Adam Patrick, who writes for Fansided NFL Writer, says Jeff Passan looks like a Batman villain before they become bad.
That was a good one. There was a lot of that this week. I got Oompa Loompa by one of my friends. It was
Oompa Loompa? You don't look like an Oompa Loompa.
No.
I'll send you the picture, Saran. You tell me.
Okay, I look forward to seeing it.
To me, young Reagan is one of my favorites.
I'm going to end this by saying Oompa Loompa doopity doo. I will see you next week too.
Good job,
The Passan lookalikes, what he looks like, are so good.
1999, Tim Grunhart makes the Pro Bowl. Sarah and I, we
Tim
get on a
Grunhart
plane, we go down to Dallas for the layover, and guess who was on the plane with me? Warren Sapp. NFL, being the cheap asses that they are, they said either, hey, listen, we'll pay for your flights. You can have one first-class ticket, or you can have, as like 2 coach tickets. Oh, I see. Okay.
And Sarah's like, hey, listen, you've worked your ass off for all these years. You go sit up first. I'll sit down with the kids. My mom went with, so she helped out. So I paid for my mom and CJ to go. I think Cassie was, lap child with whatever. So I'm up at first class, and guess who's sitting right in front of me on the plane? It's Warren Sapp. So I get, I'm just sitting there kind of messing around before the flight starts and kind of get up and, hey, Warren, hey, Tim Grunhart, congratulations on another Pro Bowl. You've had a great career. And he looks at me and then looks away and doesn't say one word. Like, A, I'm too good for you. B, I'm a jackass, and, I'm going to show you how much of a jackass I am. So I sit back down and I go, that's a lot of crap. I said, listen, first of all, I've been in the league longer than you.
Yeah.
And, I haven't played in all the Pro Bowls you have, but I'm going to my first one, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I said, that's it. I said, in the game, I'm going to cut him every play I have an opportunity to cut him. As God is my witness, Darren Kearns, who's the equipment manager for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he was
down with the Bucs then?
Yeah, he was with the Bucs, and the Bucs staff was.
But he worked for the Chiefs.
He was, but he's with the Bucs at this point.
Okay.
So I walk off. I see him. I go, listen, you tell Warren Sapp I'm coming after him during the game. He goes, no, Warren's a great guy. I told him that story. He goes, I can't believe it. I said, so he goes to Warren at the party and says, hey, Grunt, I introduced, and he's like, oh yeah, how you doing? Kind of just glossing over. I said that's not good enough. It's still happening.
Still happening.
First play of the game, it's a trap. I'm blocking back on him, and I go down and cut him down like a cord of wood. And he goes flying down and going, what the hell? I said, dude, stand me up in the plane. It's happening all game long. Every time I go against you, I'm going to cut you. So when I go in the game, you better get your ass out unless you want to get cut. That's exactly what I said to him. And
I love that.
And pass protection. I'm chipping off of one guy, and I see him like pass rushing against the other guy,
man.
and I'm hitting him in the ribs as hard as I can. We're saucing up the ribs, saucing his ribs up. Guess what happened in the second quarter? When I went in, he went out. And that is a true story. Warren Sapp tried to big time me on the plane, and guess what? You're going to pay for it, and he paid for it. That's just the way. Listen, I respect the game, respect the guys in it, but if you're going to do that, and he's like, dude, this is the Pro Bowl. We don't. I said, hey, do you have equipment on? I have equipment on. We're playing the game. Simple as that. But you put a helmet on, and you're going to talk crap to me or ignore me, you're going to pay for it.
Love
I
it.
love that freaking story from Grunny. I'm cutting you down like wood.
Incredible.
God.
They have the worst pitcher war in baseball with Matt Strahm and the worst position player war in baseball, which was Salvador Perez. And like,
I can't imagine many teams go into a year with the goal of having the worst pitcher and position player at the same time.
I don't think
Thanks. Thanks for chiming in.
I want to hear more from you. You take over.
Tell me more about how this works.
I said what I said.
Good
No,
call,
don't
Ken.
fist him.
Fist him.
He heard it. He heard it.
Don't fist him.
Anyway.
I'm having a blast today.
Listen, I don't. Yeah.
Hey, look. I'll tell you this: ain't no one fisting Todd around here.
It's this bump.
Sherm said don't
Whatever
fist
I call
him.
it. It's whatever I say.
I'm just curious why Nate texts us.
Because Nate wants first in
I
line.
know, it's like, he wants.
Say, hey, wait a minute! I'll be in there in 5 minutes.
It's called a fist bump. I'll call it whatever I want to call it.
Wow.
Just suffice to say that getting rear-ended at low speed twice by the same dude has been the highlight of training camp for me.
Thank you, Matt Derrick.
Way to make it.
Late entry.
Ball placement.
Ball placement.
On your chin.
You're in a bad place
That's not
today.
even like that. That wasn't even witty. He just
That's
said,
two inappropriate things for
Right.
you today, and you don't usually
Good,
do that.
I'm glad
You're in a
you
bad
narrowed.
place.
It's
51 freshmen poised to make an impact on the 2026 college
Todd.
football season. Yes or no? Does Kansas or Kansas State have anyone in this top 10?
No.
I think K-State recruited a good.
Recruited? Recruited? They recruited a guy.
Everybody, be very, very quiet. We're recruiting quarterbacks. We're recruiting wide receivers.
I thought that Cowan Quine got someone to recruit.
Everybody, be very, very quiet. Colin Quine is recruiting wide receivers.
And Weinbach was. Yes.
I say no.
I don't even remember what I had.
No, top 10.
Is K-State or KU on the list?
On the list. Not on the list.
He's recruiting.
Thank you for demanding excellence every single day. Your preparation, discipline, and attention to detail shaped far more than my football career. Unfortunately, Bill couldn't make it here today. There's a lot going on at UNC right now. He may be on a recruiting trip right now looking for the next Lawrence Taylor. I thought it was because training camp had already started, but in truth, it's because he's judging his girlfriend's cheerleading competition.
Oof. He had some line.
Pat McAfee's here in the crowd today. Great to see you, brother.
Great to see you, brother.
The only person who enjoyed holding my balls more than my wife.
Cut to wife.
She held for me in the off season when everyone else was gone. Get that right.
Clearly.
It's a good week.
PC.
It's a good week. It's a good week.
Great week.
Yeah. We got that story from Grunny about Warren Sapp. That was great, dude.
Phenomenal story. I love that. And I love Grunny also to start the story, start off in the third person.
Yes. Tim Grunhard makes his first Pro Bowl. A story by Tim Grunhard. 27 years ago, and we're just hearing about it for the first time, that he was saucing up the ribs of Warren Sapp in Hawaii.
Sauce it up, baby.
Todd Lebo is going to be saucing up the mic for the next 4 hours in the program, along with K-Dog and Cal. Thank you, Drake. We're out of here. We'll talk to you on Monday. Enjoy the game.